We are live. Welcome
We're
to
live.
Anonymous
We're
Strikes
alive.
Back, episode 79. Um, well, we did have a guest planned, but stuff happened and they're not here. So we are going to Plan B. I guess related to our guest, there was some things that we wanted to hit upon that's been big within the Anon community. Million Mask March. We hit upon it the last show, and what I'm seeing is um, a lack of people even trying to get their events started. Now I understand that the average person, or people who show up to protest events, you only got like what 2 or 3 week window when they're going to show up, or when they're still interested. So I understand putting it off to the last minute, but there are also people that have been asking and messaging a bunch of our pages. Um, that like, hey, are we having one here? And my best response is, if there isn't one in your area, try and start one as soon as possible. I can give you some hinters and some pointers. If you're not doing your Million Mass Smart, if you're going to do the event page on Facebook, there's a couple of pointers that you want to know. If you're going to be doing it on a personal, like you're going to do it, personally, not affiliated with the page, default setting on Facebook is set to private, not public. So if you're going to be doing a Million Mask March, make sure that you set your setting to public, or only you and your friends and whoever's been invited to the event will be able to see it. Um, so a couple of cities that have been really on the downfall on Million Mask March. Well, there actually is an event up now. Well, Chicago hasn't had one up yet. Neither has LA. Going to be working in the next few days to be messaging the other pages. Either not, or I'm just going to get the event started myself. Um, what else? What else? Pointers. Just start planning. Yeah, start planning, because we only have so many weeks before November 5th. If you guys want to do virtual maps or whatever, links with animation like they've done in the UK, a set path where you're going to be marching, go ahead and do so. It doesn't always work out to your benefit, because then the cops know where you're going to be. Um, um, what else? Bring signs, megaphones, masks. Um, yeah, it's I kind of get frustrated. I'm kind of getting like a little frustrated because I'm not seeing. Certain areas are already getting their events started, but I'm just getting a little frustrated that some of the major cities within the U.S. haven't even got their event pages up. And there's a big one in L.A., Million Mask March, um, uh, Million Mask March, Los Angeles, which has 2,500 people that liking the page, and the other big one I'm talking about is the Chicago Anonymous page. You guys got 7,200 likes, and you guys don't have an event page up. What's going on? What's going on there, man? You got every other political activism going on within the city, but you don't have them. Well, I've been seeing it for a while. Saw some of the back channels. there was some guy I knew that had. No, I'm not gonna talk shit on them in front of camera. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But just get your shit. Just
Yeah,
get the
let's get
event
it together, man.
get it
Let's get it
together
together.
and get the event pages up. If you want to make websites, go ahead. There's uh well, I'll get the links. I'll put the links up on the page afterwards. But there are some links with resources on where you can go. A lot of people asked about Canada. I don't know about Canada. If you don't, like I said, if you don't see one anywhere listed when you do a search, Facebook, Twitter, or even on some of the links I'm going to be putting on the page, just start making the events yourself. Um, What else? What else? What else? What else?
Well, let's say what is the history of this Million Mass March, or
Well,
what are they marching for, or overall?
in the past, it has been about different things, but last year, what we were, a lot of us, I've only been around for a year. I'm a bit of a new fag, but last year I was march. A lot of us were talking because DAPL was going on at the same time, so we were doing a lot of the water is life stuff. There was some other stuff going on with Israel, so some of us were doing that as well. Um, that's why I kind of wish our guest would have been here, who's been around for a while. They could give you the history on the November 5th march. And unfortunately, they're not here.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, Let me see. What else? Oh, oh, big one within the Anon community. So, you ready for this one, Micro? You ready for this one? Oh, did we lose him, Micro?
Let's see. He's muting.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
what I
All right.
missed?
All
Sorry,
right.
I had a phone call.
All right. Yeah, you're gonna love this one.
Yeah.
Um, so a non-HQ, right, and a non-official, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah, you guys are gonna love this one. So there's a video going around on YouTube and referring to um, whoa, what happened here? Are we live?
What's up?
Hold on. What the hell? I'm getting some weird message on the back end of me.
Let's see here.
Oh yeah.
Alien.
Oh yeah. So a non-official and a non-HQ are like the major guys within the non community who are all I got to say they're douchebags and they're not really doing much uh, and making a profit off of anonymous. So there's a video floating
Yeah.
around. There's a video floating around um, that exposes a non-official for stealing. What they're saying is that a non-official has been stealing Anon's videos and making them as their own. Yes, I do agree with you. Some of the stuff that we do here at Anonymous Fight Back is cut and paste, and some of the artists that we show you, we've had their some of them, we have their permission to do it. We're working on another one as we speak. They might be a guest on our show. Show them some support. That metal band that you hear is Nightwings 3. They're in India. They need some support. Uh, they're not really big
They're
either.
good too, man.
Yeah, I know, right?
They sound,
So,
yeah, they sound fantabulous.
um,
Oh,
so it was a non-HQ switched to a non-dash news, and let me get out the screenshot. He's got it. Non-hive has it.
yes it is. Programming, reprogramming project model.
Project March. Oh, that's something different. Let me get the screenshot of it.
MKO.
So, if you want to know who a non-official is, hold on. I got the screenshot. God, where's it on my phone?
So Project Monarch and MK Ultra are two projects of the same origin. Monarch is for the butterfly because once it cocoons and flies out, it pretty much has its set pattern of what to do, does it not? It
I got it. I got it.
does what it's supposed to.
Display name of the uploader: anonymous official. Real name: Anthony Viana, 56 Baker Court, Buffalo, New York, 1428, United States. Email is anonymousofficialyt@gmail.com. Phone number is 716-235-1631.
What's the IP address? You got everything else. Where's the IP?
Well, I've kind of been saying it for a while that anonymous official and a non HQ, like I can't prove that they're like they've done stuff together, but I honestly think that they have. I think what happened is probably an argument between one and the other guys, and now they're exposing each other. You know,
Oh,
I
it's an
heard
unmasking event.
yeah, I heard a non HQ at one point was made like $300,000 off the name of Anonymous.
Some big bills there.
Uh,
Who,
Where's my
where did
check?
that belong?
I know, right?
Wow. I've done a lot of artwork, and I know a couple others have too. So what's up?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but both I'm not sure if a non HQ do they still have their web store up where they were selling merchandise and shit.
No idea. Last time I checked, I was gonna get a hoodie, and I was like, man, $30.
Let me see. A non HQ. Well,
Oh,
now
where?
a non HQ looks like
No.
a non dash news, but they've moved. Uh, yeah, the last thing on this webpage was from like May 19th, so they've already moved to the other page. But yeah, keep a heads up. They do have. I have caught one of the. I don't remember. I was drinking too much coffee or something to pay attention which one had. But there was another store that I had found that was linked to one of the pages, and it was a web store from one of the pages. You could order. I think it was through Facebook. But yeah, they're making kind of a lot of money off the name of Anonymous, and now they're exposing each other probably over money.
Wow.
Yeah.
Money is evil. Money will make you fight. We're all supposed to be in this together, and you're fighting over money. What? Hey, you're God,
Well,
right?
I mean, you got it. Like, there was like one cool video. Like, I will give a non-official that, but there is no official anonymous, and there is no official this. I mean, they did have, during the elections, they did have this one threat video that got like 3 or 4 million hits, where it basically was like saying that Anonymous was going to like violently like take over the United States. Yeah.
Damn, man, it's kind of bad.
And they incorporated and cut and pasted the U.S. veteran, Iraq veterans against America. That video, with the one with Eisenhower playing in the background. Oh, you've never seen it?
I missed it.
Oh, okay,
Nah,
yeah,
I
No.
missed
yeah. It was kind of a cool one, but like other than that, a lot of it's just retarded.
it.
But in other news, let me see. Rocket Man. Uh, uh, um,
Isn't there an old song?
Rocket
Isn't it,
Man.
yeah, who was that? John, not John Denver. What's he? Elton John.
Yeah, Elton John. So I believe it was yesterday at the United Nations. Trump was left alone again, and uh, basically called out North Korea and was referring to Kim Jong Un as Rocket Man, and that he was making and was threatening North Korea at the UN. You can't leave him alone for 5 fucking minutes. Um, and while he was doing it, I believe the ambassador of North Korea was in there and walked out. Um, you know,
That's correct.
yeah. This is just days after. This is just days after. Uh, um,
Can
the
you
the
guys hear me?
Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Oh,
All right. So yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Sorry.
where are you?
I am in southern Florida, just south of Naples.
You guys might,
Wow, it is windy as fuck, man.
you guys might get hit again.
Oh my god, man! Like we're just like where we just left. So there was a housing complex, probably 120 units, still without power, no food, no like water delivery, and on top of it, um, a lot of them are illegal. So they're fucked, man. So we brought a bunch of food and had like a giant barbecue, fed like 100 families. Um, yeah, we're just kind of doing our thing, delivering supplies, clearing fucking debris, rescuing old ladies from trees. No, cats from trees.
Cats from trees. Why would the old ladies be in the trees?
I thought maybe to get the cat. I don't know. It's a hurricane, man. So
Oh,
yeah,
hurricane from all the trees. Yeah.
we're we're trying to get the stuff in Puerto Rico like sorted. It's like I'd still say at this point 50-50 on whether we're going to get hit with something from this next storm.
Goodbye, Florida.
So,
Florida and
Yeah,
California.
guys,
so I mean, the big thing was the North Korea shit with Trump being left alone in the United Nations and calling out Kim Jong Un. Did you hear about that one? Yeah.
I
Give it a minute, man. Tires are still down, I guess, there.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you,
Yeah,
Terrence. Terrence is cutting out.
Uh,
I hear like a wind noise. That's it.
Terrence, you there?
Data. And nothing. Wow, they're still without power there, and something else is coming in. Oh, my goodness.
Well, how high were the winds when it came through Naples?
we hit about 80, 90 miles an hour at the top in the area that I was at. But you got to remember, like the islands got it a lot worse than we did. But yeah, our winds are about that I saw. It's like into a tropical storm. I guess so, yeah.
I only got like
Can you hear
2%.
me?
Yeah, I only got like 2% of that.
Yeah, you sound like Optimus Prime.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Or, yeah.
still fucked up. That is the thing to take away.
Max Edward. Y'all remember him?
Yeah, I'd love to be part of the conversation, but I don't think. Man, the cell phone service is still jacked up here.
Oh, man.
Yeah, maybe. Puerto Rico is gonna get hit again with Maria tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we're as we speak. Yeah, we're heading south, as we, but it's still slow going the farther south we go.
Yeah, so
Man,
apparently,
you should get on and get out.
yeah, I was gonna say
Like it's
apparently
still up
Maria
the
might move up to Atlantic.
road. Guys, yeah, I'm gonna have to let go. Shit's getting a bit crazy at the moment. It's just like another storm, but because everything's so messed up from the last, like every little storm is like 10 times.
I got you, bro.
So I'm
Yeah, we
trying
got you.
to
Be safe, man. Get out of there as soon as you can.
there. No, we're doing no solar set generators. Like we're still doing rescues at this point,
Oh, you are out.
and with Yeah, like we're still, as soon as you get to the Everglades, the amount of debris, we're like, yeah. So yeah, we're driving into it. But I'll tell you how it goes.
I gotcha.
I wish you can't see, can
Uh,
Well, they say
you?
that
All right.
when Maria hits Puerto Rico, it might be it might be up to Category 4 or 5.
Yeah, we're gonna
danger.
get a piece of that. Just might not be quite as direct as Irene was, but in the next week we don't really know. Like they don't know what direction to go. It could switch.
That's coming and going every which way.
Well, yeah, they believe once it hits Puerto Rico, they're going to be getting like 175 mile an hour winds. And I was reading some reports of some people leaving surrounding islands to go to Puerto Rico, only to find out that they are stuck in Puerto Rico with another hurricane, which sucks.
That Terrence is on. I just seen that.
I lost signal.
Yeah, he needs to just like sit low, man. So Maria is like devastating those islands right this minute, I'm sure. And it's going. Florida is already weak like they are. They probably waited, well, not waited long enough to actually let people go back.
Well, yeah, and now that they have that upcoming hurricane, and God knows if it's only safe. But hey, Preston, so your boy was. You want to talk about what happened to your friend, Preston?
Say that again, Tyler.
Oh yeah, your friend. He was out in Florida.
Let's see. Well, he had he's from Wisconsin, so he got a bunch of supplies. Took about a week and a half. He got rounded up supplies in a trailer, drove down to the Miami area. He was trying to get out to the Keys to where it first hit that, I guess it's that Marcos Island, and he got stopped at Homestead, Florida, at a big checkpoint and block point there. Told to turn around. They threatened to confiscate all his stuff, but he somehow got out of that. The word I heard was he then thought about it a little bit and hired a boat and actually went out there and dropped the stuff off. I believe got back and driving over on the other side of the state, on the west side of the state, ran into like maybe another roadblock somewhere around Naples, and that's where he got into his trouble with his license and so forth. But yeah, just getting supplies in is a problem. You're going to be turned away. Of course, that's a number of days now. And I think people that live in the Keys can get out there, but at the time he drove up, they weren't even letting people drive supplies out there.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so he's got he ran a little bit of trouble, so he had a license issue and then obstruction charge apparently thrown on top of that. So yeah, he's having a little trouble down in Florida. But it shows you what you can run into.
Well,
They did.
I wonder if FEMA's trying to eat up all the money that they can, on this, and trying to stop other people from coming in so they can, you know what I mean, so they don't have to leave as
Yeah, to
quick.
make them look bad.
Yeah, I guess that from their angle, it's extra traffic. They don't want to have to deal with it. Don't know who they can't vet you and watch you while you're out there. They don't know who the good guys and bad guys are. I mean, I kind of see where they're coming from, but at the same time, if the roads are open, what's the issue?
I don't know.
Faster you get people in there, get supplies in, the better it gets, the quicker it gets. So
Uh,
you're just fighting your government, though. The same thing happened in Houston. There's a lot of people had good experiences. They go and you can donate. I mean, there's places, but then you go to these others, and it's like there's some other agenda going on, and you just you can't. They're trying to like confiscate your stuff, and you got to
Well,
play
can't
by some FEMA or some
yeah
Red
get
Cross rules or whatever. I mean,
can't take
it's just a hit and miss.
yeah technically those guys can take your your weapons, right?
Yeah, they can seize all your supplies.
That's crazy.
Well,
You bet.
what's the rule? What's the law on that? I mean, what I'm saying. Where can I find a statute on that? I haven't looked into that.
What'd you say?
So,
What'd you say, Micro?
well,
Yeah, I missed that.
what's the statute on that? The court statute. I might look more into that.
I
Is that like only under state of emergency that they do that, or is it any time they can do that? Is what I'm wondering.
Well, I guess I mean, there was a state of emergency declared, right? I mean,
Yeah, all across from Texas to North
pretty much
Carolina.
Florida, well, in Texas too.
Yeah, Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, everybody in the lower, almost 13 colonies. I mean,
So yeah, it's just hit and miss whether you can actually help or not.
well,
I think in the first days you probably can.
yeah, because they're not
Nothing's really
expected.
established yet.
Yeah,
Not even FEMA's not there yet. But after a couple of days, once they get their handles in there and tentacles in there, then things start changing. Guard gets there and all that.
yeah, you can't.
have
Yeah.
you seen these barges, these FEMA barges that are supposed to house people?
Up your
That
whoa,
look
whoa,
like
Yeah,
mini prisons.
whoa!
I
Did you
did
just
see
say?
that. I was like,
Did you just say
that's pretty weird.
A
That's
FEMA barge? Like it's not safe to put people on barges,
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, really. I mean, that's an expensive way to do things. I mean, if it's expensive enough on land,
I was gonna say, they're gonna be hit.
but
They're gonna be hit with like a possible another storm on a barge. That's
yeah, it's to get them out of there. It's like refugees or survivors, or you know what I'm saying. They're trying to get people out of there, and they look like mini prisons. I was like, man, I was like, oh, it's hideous. Said there was a couple of tractor trailers on the way from New Jersey. I believe I was reading too.
uh,
you say mini prisons that are going on in there.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks like a tiny prison. Because a lot of these people are sitting in like the football stadium, the baseball stadiums, or Walmart.
With barbed
They,
wire.
they look like internment camps, man.
Well,
I guess if they take you out far enough, you're going to have a problem swimming back, right? I mean, if it's but the one I
Very
saw, honestly,
realistic.
I
I
mean, it is
mean,
so top heavy. If that thing started swinging back and forth, it would topple over
yeah, that's what.
easy.
well,
I
Yeah,
mean, that thing is a piece of crap.
let me see if I can get it to Tyler on Facebook while I
It's not,
still have
yeah,
a
it's not
Facebook.
even seaworthy, man. I
wait,
mean,
wait,
no way.
wait. Are they putting it on top of the barge or like the?
Yeah, it's
Wouldn't
it's
it be?
nuts.
Wouldn't it be safer to like build like like a tent city like with those those military sized tents like someplace that's
Yeah.
above ground, not near any other water, not on a barge. Isn't it a little safer?
Apparently, that makes sense, and we just can't have that. That's where we're at in
It says
government
two
think
FEMA
nowadays.
barges capable of housing hundreds of Hurricane Harvey evacuees are heading to Fort Arthur, Texas. NBC News reports two FEMA barges. Not everyone is happy with the Ms. Gwendolyn Donahue, a displaced resident who is currently staying at a Red Cross shelter, doesn't like the idea of living on one of these boats. She was rescued from her home during Harvey, then transported from shelter to shelter. She said the last thing she wants to do is live on a barge on the water.
Yeah,
I will say again, I am not a fish, I am not a crab, I am not a shrimp because I don't know nothing about being on a boat set on.
yeah. I was gonna say when it comes to the government planning and shit, they ain't got their shit together. I tell you that.
Nope.
Well, no, they have their shit together. It's just they got it together. Just when it happens, they don't know really what they're doing.
Well, and you know, and if they do seem to do something right, like I mean, you know, you can get fairly efficient police forces and military. It just costs you a fucking arm and a leg, man. I mean, it's just like, holy crap.
I got plenty of bullets, no generators.
Yeah, I was gonna say so does FEMA and the DHS. They spent like what $80 million on fucking ammunition and weapons.
I guess they see people as getting desperate, you know, because who's going to get short gas is going to get short. People were fighting over gas in Florida before they can even get out of there.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say while they're focusing in Florida, you know what's going on in Puerto Rico. You know they're gonna get slammed for the fucking second time. You know, right now, um, you know they're in a state of bankruptcy, and they can't declare
Yeah.
bankruptcy. So there's like a possibility that majority of Puerto Rico might not have power for the next 6 months. You know.
Yeah, we got Barbuda, St. Martin. They're still ravaged on there, and they're getting ravaged even more now.
Well, a lot of people are coming from the
And
surrounding
then,
islands to the larger islands, and like I was saying
oh man,
before, you know they're only finding out. A lot of people went to Puerto Rico, and only to find out that they're getting hit again.
Yeah.
Remember I was talking about September 23rd?
yes, I've seen it on Facebook. I
Oh my
mean,
God! It's like if people really think, you know, it's next, you know, this Saturday, the world's gonna end.
it could. We've got all these hurricanes, earthquakes. Hurricanes just platelets in the earth for earthquake to happen. And
Well, I mean, yeah, I think we were talking about it before the show. You know, Mexico got hit with like 7.2, and then 2 weeks before it was the largest one in the last 100 years. It was like an 8.1.
Yeah.
yeah, San Andreas and Los Angeles are sitting right directly on the fault line. It's going to be an escape from LA for somebody.
How you going to stream after a 9 earthquake out there? I mean, it's going to be tough.
maybe I can
That's basically.
maybe I can jerry rig a satellite link. You know. Hell,
Hey, make sure your
remember that
taxis are
one
charged.
show I did where I was using I was like I said I was using a borrowed connection. That was fucking crazy.
I would
Yeah.
definitely suggest investing in a ham radio. That's AM waves.
Well, I don't know what the data rates are on ham, but I have heard yes, you can use data on ham band.
Yep. That's true.
Yeah,
Oh
It's
yeah.
pretty slow, but yeah, it's better than nothing.
it's better than nothing. You might get like fucking
56K
I mean,
or some
we've
shit.
56.
gotten
Yeah.
so high tech, we don't even know how to use anything like that anymore. Who uses CB radio anymore?
Oh, somebody's hitting us up.
What was that?
Where they're hitting us up at? Sit down, find them.
Uh, so yeah, speaking of slow data rates and problems with the show, we were being censored. Um, the last two shows, as far as as far as viewers or whatever, and now it seems to be fine because we didn't go live or anything like that. So, Facebook, is really, I've been saying this for fuck even before I was with Anonymous. There's a um censorship going on, to the point where your average user won't know that it's happening. But uh, but yeah, when people are posting things, your friend might not necessarily see it because of the way that Facebook is doing things.
No, I can't get the link right now, but I know I ran across an article where they said that Facebook had hired some firm that has about 15,000 people that work out of the Philippines, and all they do is like scroll through stuff like every 2 or 3 seconds, looking at pictures and things deciding whether to censor it or not.
Yeah,
No, they got
Uh,
AI bots for that.
well, the Filipinos must be cheap because they're using them too.
Wow.
Yeah, you just would think it's like why would you do that? Why would you
well,
spend all that
I
money?
remember they were paying people around the world, Facebook. At least I was hearing stories about it. Mid last year, before they were doing all the rest of this shit, where they were hiring people. Yeah, yeah, like they're only paying them a couple of dollars to like look at people's profiles and shit. You know?
Yeah, $15, $20.
Uh, yeah,
That's what they're making a day off of us.
like right now, like what I've been saying
50,
for a
50,
while.
50.
I wouldn't. It's more than just an algorithm they're working in the background. I actually think it's a form of AI. You know?
Yeah, they're
Oh yeah,
probably
Facebook is all in it.
the computers are looking at what all those people are doing, and they're also they're taking out extreme content, whether it's left or right. Now it's not just the right side. The others are getting hit too. Everybody's getting hit now. Alternative media, either We Are Change or Tim Pool, all these people, they're all getting hit and demonetized. I mean, there's a real onslaught going on.
I'm
Yeah, that's
sorry. I've been listening to Alex Jones again, so I'm not going to be. That's why I'm starting to act crazy again. But
Oh, that's what it is.
yeah, but yeah, Alex was saying the same thing that he's getting hit as well.
Yeah.
well, that's what happens when you fire disgruntled employees and you have them program your bots and they leave. Way to go.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that he was making like. I know he makes a lot of money off of this shit, but I wasn't sure where it was coming from. Um, so apparently, it's not really obvious to the average user that Alex Jones has, he sells products and that's how he sells his show. No, he's also making a profit off of. There's a streaming service you can get from, streaming services, Roku, certain streaming services, but Prison Planet TV is still up with his shit on it, and I think a year subscription is still like $29.95, where you can watch like Alex Jones on your TV, so he's still making money that way as well. Oh, watching,
Why?
yeah,
But what gets me is just like to me, he puts out less content with the documentaries and movies than he did. He's supposed to have like 70 people now, and he used to put out more when he only had 10 or 15.
well,
Yeah, I just,
I've been saying for a while, he drank the Kool
Controlled
Aid, man. Yeah,
opposition.
yeah, he drank the Kool Aid, but there's some of the other shows, listen to them. There's a lot of good content, but when you start to involve anything that is anti-Trump, then you're fucking crazy.
yeah, he doesn't want to talk about the Zionism either.
Yeah.
You used to.
He has been avoiding that. Yeah, there was a couple of callers 2 days ago. They were calling into the Alex Jones show. There was saying, well, this guy was kind of like saying it, out of context. He was saying that it's all the Jews' fault. Jews this, Jews that, Jews this, and but yeah, he does avoid a lot of those talks.
He used to talk about anything, but he wasn't a disinformationalist agent one time too for the CIA. And just you seen that, right? Where he looked two different personality TV shows or whatever he's doing. You
uh,
guys missed that.
No.
Where he supposedly looked like another news anchor.
uh,
Oh, that's the whole Stanley Hicks thing, or the.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's no about that one.
yeah.
That's a joke.
Oh, I got me.
So yeah, we got to start selling some brain force, Tyler,
Yeah, buy your
and
brain force with the bone broth.
and keep a couple of bottles for yourself, for right before the show. Uh,
I'll tell you what, he always says that he's amped off of his fucking shit. He doesn't eat all day because he's on because he's on those supplements. And I'm sorry, but like what it's leading more towards, me being a recovering addict is you're doing amphetamines. Sorry, Alex.
That's slanderous,
Wow.
Tyler. You better be able to back up your shit, man.
Give me a drug test and I'll prove
Yeah,
it.
proof or get out. Yeah.
I have heard of fat drug addicts that use stimulants, and they do exist.
Well, that's interesting. Creatine.
But yeah, Alex back in the day, he was putting out a lot of good content, and then over the last year and a half, it's like, man, you drank that Kool-Aid, man.
Well, he got divorced. That didn't help.
Oh, I wasn't aware of the divorce, so no, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
probably a year old now. He's got him a new wife and another kid. Moving on.
Well, I see alimony and child support.
Yeah, but I guess if he's raking it in as good as Tyler says, I mean, that's a little bump in the road. Yeah, maybe it's a big bump in the road, but yeah, shit
Yeah.
happens.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Mona Sepsi says some chick hacked native outlaws and changed the passwords, so he's screwed. Had the site for quite a while. The site is for the Indians to express themselves and post art. Didn't know that. Yeah, speaking of, yeah, we were talking about that on the back end of the channel. There are some updates on DAPL. Pull it up right now. This is a little old news. Let me see. It's about 19 days old. Okay, so it's fairly new. So, yeah, the Energy Transfer Partners are suing nonprofit organizations that were affiliated with the DAPL protests, specifically entities that were labeled were Greenpeace, which I don't give a fuck about. I mean, Greenpeace. There's evidence that Greenpeace has done some bad shit in the long run. Bank Trek, not familiar with them. Earth,
Yeah, they got a couple of big lawsuits in Canada already that they're battling. So yeah, they've got plenty to do.
yeah, and they're suing them for
Earth,
$1 billion in damages. Like,
Earth First also. No,
yeah.
that's another name.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
some of the stuff that they're saying is like it's in the lawsuit, like from the article that I was reading was from the Energy Transfer Partners is ridiculous. Um, let me
well, how
see.
they get to the billion is they say their actual estimating their losses at 300 million, and then triple damages would be close to $1 billion. That's how they get to that number.
But Greenpeace isn't even worth that much money. They only make like 14, 20, somewhere in the 20 millions. They're not that. You ain't gonna get that out of fucking Greenpeace. I can tell you that.
Wow. It's sad the length some people will go through just to get payback over some petty shit.
But yeah, I mean, let me see. Kelsey Warren's, is mentioned in this article, of course. Oh, here. The Energy Transfer Partners, the network's patterns. They were labeling these people's networks of patterns in the lawsuit. Misconduct include defrauding charitable donors, cheating federal tax and state authorities, claims of legitimate tax-free charitable organization, cyber attacks. I don't know what kind of cyber attacks they're talking about from those three organizations. Makes absolutely no sense. In fact, I've been in the. Well, I'm not going to go into the internals of Greenpeace, but I wouldn't say that they're there. intentional malicious inference in their targeted victims, business relationships, physical violence and threats of violence, and the purpose of destruction of private and federal property. But they're labeling Greenpeace, Bank Track, and Earth First.
Yeah, I don't know that bank track. I don't know. I've never heard of
I've
that
never heard
before.
of them. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what I caught from that article was they're also referenced like they're trying to drag in other people, like
Yes,
it's
they
from
were. They
some
were
of the camps and
from specifically Greenpeace. They were because they said that Greenpeace was funding some of these other organizations, which
yeah.
is
So
which is
that's
not entirely true. There, I would say if the Transfer Energy Partners won this, they're gonna have to come up with a lot of evidence.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
see.
gonna need screencast. Uh,
well, you see how they worded it too. They're calling it the enterprise. So anybody that has anything to do with any of that is, can be dragged in. That's
that's a
what they
lot
would
of
like.
dumpster diving, but got to
Oh
stick
yeah,
if you got it.
I do see that. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
with all the stingrays and drones and checkpoints, I'm sure they got plenty of license plate numbers. It's there was only so many ways in and out of there.
that is true. Yeah, I just don't see them. I don't see them winning this one. I don't. Plus,
So
these are oil bigwigs trying to basically give the middle finger to anybody that was affiliated to an illegal stance by raping them financially for what happened in ZAPL. You know.
Yeah. This follows along a more global tactic that they're trying and getting pushed, through mostly in the EU is, uh, allowing companies to sue, uh, like say Greenpeace and some of these organizations under eco-terrorism. And since that was kind of the break of the ice, enabling them to do it over there, now we're seeing it. It's like, well, hell, they're if they can pull a suit like that off in Europe, well, we'll just do it here.
Yeah.
oh,
I was gonna say the people that are suing these people, like $1 billion is like nothing to these people. To be honest with you.
Now they'd see that. Yeah. Well, their actual losses are three. Okay, even if you believe their number, it's 300 million. So it's like, okay,
Well, the people that
you know,
they're doing this counter lawsuit again, they don't. You combine all their probably income together, I don't think you're going to get $300 million. I don't see that.
no,
I'll have to get it broken down over 20 year span. Like they do the lottery, get it all in one lump sum or every 12 weeks.
Lump sum. So they're gonna. So what is Greenpeace gonna do? They're gonna be like telling their when you go work for Greenpeace, they ask you to get donations. So what they're gonna be doing? They're gonna be like, hey, can you donate to help our lawsuit that we lost? I don't see that. It's not. It's not. I don't see them winning
It's
this
going
one.
to, you always drive it off in a truckload of pennies.
So there's some of these cities now that have ordinances where you can't pay in pennies like that. They really don't like that.
Oh, if you want to pay a legal dispute in pennies.
Yeah, I've heard of cities. Yeah,
That's how you do it.
you can't do it.
Really?
They'll just refuse it. Yeah, even though it's
And they're not
cash payment
supposed
in
to.
hand.
Yeah, it's legal tender, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't like the hassle of you carting in a dolly full of pennies, and
Counting it.
it's like, oh man.
Yeah, but man, I hope you got a bunch of those coin stars.
They're going to earn that pay this week.
Yeah, you know it's not worth it to him because it costs more to pay the guy that's allegedly counting this money than he's making more per hour than he could count.
You ain't got to worry about him stealing it. I'm just going to put 2 handfuls of pennies in my pocket.
Well, yeah, Mona, I'll post more updates when anything comes out of that lawsuit. So.
They're still arresting water protectors. That's pretty wild, man.
Well, up on that line 3, yeah, they've gotten a little more serious up there. I couldn't tell you how many people are at that camp, but boy, they're giving them hell, man.
Where's this
Is
going?
it
What?
Red
Where?
Warrior Camp? Is it Red Warrior Camp?
I don't know if it's them again, but yeah, they're doing the tactics of locking on the equipment, and they're really eating up their time.
Yeah.
But we've got like nobody up there. I don't know anybody in that area.
I did about 10 profiles, but the pipeline goes along St. Louis, doesn't it? It seems like a lot of that's following that. What's going on out there in St. Louis? It all quiet. It looks like it's quiet tonight.
It might have stopped tonight, but yet the last 3 days, I think over the last 3 days, 80 people or more were arrested. Uh,
I'll wait till Saturday or Friday.
Let me see if they got
Nobody's
anything.
working.
I heard they had something planned for today, but I didn't hear anything on the news. Let's see, St. Louis.
Oh, let's see. Well, they did a pretty big protest in front of the jail, and then I heard they were at the mayor's house. I believe it was the mayor's house, and got pretty close there. So yeah, they're spooking them.
Let me see. I'm still showing shit on my feed. See, St. Louis protest police accused of controversial kettling tactics. Yeah, I was gonna say, what is kettling?
Police.
Crowd
And they're
control for
out
the
here
entertainment.
hollering, whose streets? Our streets. The police. Those are taxpayer dollars paying you to patrol those streets.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, I thought the kettling was where they would kind of funnel you into certain streets and areas where they can, arrest you easier, or kind of back you into a
Oh, they
corner,
do.
Yeah,
essentially.
all
They do.
they're saying the definition is to control access of a location, decide how to allow people to leave. Oh,
Oh yeah, funneling them.
yeah.
There you go. Yeah, funneling, kettling, same thing.
Yeah, cattle. Yeah.
Cattling,
Kettling.
chattel,
Yeah,
no
for real.
chattling.
Shatley.
This cop was fighting this case for like what, since 2011?
Yeah, 6
Jesus
years. Yeah.
fucking Christ.
This police thing has been going on really since 2012. I think everybody saw the soldier who come back from Iraq and was fussing about were attacking citizens in New York, and this whole thing has escalated bad all sorts of ways.
I'm sorry, I'm not aware of the New York thing.
Well, that started with the stop
I'll
and frisk.
send you. Yeah, this was at ages, man. Gas prices started going up. This 2008 to 2012 was when everything really.
Well, it's funny that you're talking about gas prices. That was another thing that was um, on the back end of one of the topics. Something we didn't really cover much is that Zero Hedge has been covering this quite kind of in depth. So, but basically, Venezuela and China are abandoning uh, essentially, the petrodollar. Um,
I was leaving it.
what?
You say China
Well, they're
was
they're
leaving
just
the
they're
petrodollar?
they're pricing it in Chinese yuan. I don't know that the Chinese themselves are pulling away from it either, but the Venezuelans are pricing it in Chinese yuan,
The way I read it from Zero Head said that
which
the Chinese were banning use the petrodollar to trade oil as well.
oh yeah, that would be big news.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
when you do that, you got to remember that the yuan is fixed. It has a fixed rate to the dollar. So, by proxy, you're really doing the same thing. The price is the same because the conversion's already built in. But it's the point of it all.
well, I
This
mean,
this is the
If you
first
watch
big
coffee
move.
prices,
It's the first big move from getting us away from being like the world reserve currency. That's what kind of cements us in. No matter what, we got somebody backing our currency, allegedly. But once that starts to fall away and
well,
people get away from your currency, well then,
well, it's
yeah.
essentially, that what that's saying to me, is a bunch of economists have been saying, is it's the end of the American Empire. It really is.
yeah, it's a big, if you want
Yeah.
to call it a red flag, yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Well,
It's a
I
it's a
do a lot of reading and we're looking at cleaner energy. I was reading about salt water batteries, kind of like the Stanley Myers, or these salt water batteries can power you where you have to actually recharge it.
Well,
You
yeah,
guys
yeah.
read into that?
The salt water batteries, yeah, they do have a lot of. I was reading up on it. I was researching shit, and it came up yesterday. They do have a lot of advantages over like regular batteries, but they do have one major pitfall: extreme weather. They can't stand up.
Are you
Uh,
talking like when
I,
it when
I
it
think
gets real cold,
Below
they
14,
freeze, or
yeah, below 14 degrees Fahrenheit and above
oh, okay,
104. Yeah,
well,
but but if you keep them like in a room that's like, I don't know, they can go within those bounds, they're fine. But yeah, they will outlast a lot of other types of batteries as far as rechargeable batteries.
well, I thought as long as water moved, it wouldn't freeze. I've done the same thing with baking soda and water, which is actually pretty dangerous, believe it or not. Yeah, baking soda and water, it's like a mini baking soda bomb, which charges the water for some reason. Charge out. I actually built a car that we rerouted everything from O2 Bank One, the two O2 sensors and the intake. We got 52 miles per gallon out of a whole 1998 model. Yeah, but it was dangerous. Man was driving around in a bomb pretty much.
Let me see, Tim Allen Dick. Can't say your last name. I've been in on since before V for Vendetta movie. I honestly believe it was made for the non-members for real. Um, well, yeah. I mean, Anonymous has been around a lot longer than, yeah, the V for Vendetta movie. Or I believe the comic book
Since
series.
World War II,
Yeah,
at
yeah. Well,
least.
no. Our real foundings were on 4chan, and then you had the Scientology protests, where I believe one of our guests had talked about it. Yeah, Yeah.
So,
Well, there was a meme going.
but
Yeah, there was a meme going around within the 4chan 4chan channel on slash. I think it was slash B. With epic fail guy because apparently Guy Fawkes he did fail at what he was supposed to do. So there was a meme going around with guy with the switch calling him epic fail guy, and it was I think Chris was talking about it. Chris Hoosh, who was at the Scientology protests where they didn't have any like real masks for that, so I guess they came up with like, well, what mask can we get that every party store has, that could be available to hide our identities, and the Warner Brothers V for Vendetta mask, the Guy Fawkes mask, was the one that was available at any party store that you could get.
and cheap
What? And well, yeah, you can.
and
Well, I mean, yeah,
cheap.
essentially, when you are buying a Guy Fawkes mask with the Warner Brothers logo, you are funding Warner Brothers indirectly or directly. Whether the profit gets there or not. Can you get a cheap mask from Million Mask March? Of course you can. There are local people all over the United States that are making the Guy Fawkes masks. You can get them. Some of them are absurdly overpriced. Ranging anywhere from 20 to hundreds of dollars, which I wouldn't pay. You can also get them. Yeah, there's a bunch of vendors on eBay that are selling them for fuck. You can get like a bag of like 100. No, a bag of 100 for like 30-40 bucks. So kind of puts one
Like comic book,
like the comic book. Yeah.
comic book stores have the good ones, the heavy duty fiberglass ceramic.
Well, yeah, I don't believe it. I don't know. The ceramic ones, they can get really expensive. Like when I was living out in the Midwest, some people were going gaga over those things, and I'm like, well, how much did you pay for this? And he's like, oh, I paid like $80 for this thing. I'm like, well, you drop this thing, it's gonna break. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't pay more than a couple of bucks for a mask. Sorry.
No, that's ridiculous. I mean, ceramic. If it's done right, it may not break unless you really beat the shit out of it. That'd be a
Ceramic.
plus.
But yeah, most
At the
ceramic.
same time, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess 90% of the overhead is what the artists want to make a profit off of it, and that was kind of like not the whole point of doing a lot of this shit. Is not to really make a profit. Yes, you put a lot of time and effort into it, but
It's only worth that much for whoever's paying for it, anyways.
pretty much, yeah. Yeah, there are some vendors on Etsy that were selling masks for way above what I would. I saw one going for $80 or more. So,
Hmm.
Get my
let me see what else do we have on the back channels. Oh, should I even talk about this one? Any you guys familiar with Thor, the Thunder God from Colorado? No,
Is that the Thor we're familiar with?
no, 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 no. Activists out in some of the back channels. He's the guy who was out there, handing out, joints to the homeless, the weed, the joints. No, you're not familiar with him.
No, I mean
no.
it sounds expensive, but
Yeah. So Facebook, so he's been getting a lot of
it's a
flack.
new tactic.
Yeah, he's been getting a lot. I think he was also out there where he was asking, he was handing out. I think he was handing out joints for people to clean out the public parks as well, out in Colorado.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I could.
yeah. And so he's been getting a lot of flack for the Stone the Homeless operation, I guess the Facebook took his profile away, which
God,
sucks.
that's
Facebook was the activist.
whatever. You know, Facebook. I don't know if they realize it. They're really turning themselves into a real piece of shit.
Well, I mean,
Not that they
I
seem
mean,
to
if you
care.
don't,
You know,
if you don't agree with some of the shit, then why are you fucking doing? I mean, they claim, the mission statement of not of Facebook was to interconnect the world, you know, and that's not something what they've done. What they've done is, if you look at I was looking at a chart at Facebook's influence on the whole internet, on most traffic on the internet. Google has a majority, I think it's like 60%, and then you have Facebook, which is like in the 16 to 20%, or no, 16, yeah, 16%, and so it has so a lot of the stuff that people see of the internet will be through the mobile apps and through Facebook, and basically they're picking and choosing what people can and cannot see, whether they like it or not. Now, the self-reporting system, has it ever worked out in the past? No, I would say no, it hasn't. And then if you leave it up to the Facebook staff to determine what you can and can't do on Facebook, well, then that's a whole other world of shit. Um, so
They'll card you within 12 hours of being hey, this is your real name. You can use it. It's your privacy.
yeah. Well,
I fucking laugh.
well, yeah. It might. And Facebook might come to a point in time, where instead of the reporting system, where you have to verify yourself with an ID and all this fucking bullshit, where
Yeah,
you're gonna need, God forbid, the full integration of the new Apple iPhone 8 or the X or whatever the fuck they're gonna call it. Um, facial
just
recognition. Yeah, facial.
blood.
Yeah, we need to verify who you are. Let's get a facial
Need your
recognition.
blood.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
that's what Facebook was. You know, it's the facial recognition database, right? I mean,
Well, yes, they
Give
had.
you got to get back
facial.
to plan. Yeah.
Yeah, they have been doing it. In fact, one of my anon sisters got hit with that based off of. I think she has a personal account, and she got a message, asking her if she was depressed from Facebook. And so yeah, they've been doing the Facebook. They've been doing the face. They've been
Mm-hmm.
doing the facial recognition stuff for their what they were officially saying it was for to see if to try and determine whether people were acting suicidal, and to try and change their feeds and give them put happy things in their
It's
fucking.
emotion detection now. It's not just yeah. They
Yeah,
don't just want a picture of your face. They want to read
they
your
want
emotion.
to take your emotions. It's nervous system manipulation, man.
Yeah.
So what makes you angry? What makes you laugh? What makes you cry?
But you know, to me,
Yeah.
the
They're showing you just depressing stuff, and
whole
then they're
thing about
showing you congratulating back.
the whole thing about reporting doesn't
They
make
want
sense.
to
You
send
know,
you to suicide
if you
hotline.
can't,
Oh, go ahead. Somebody talking. There are two people talking at the same time.
no, and my internet was blinking out too, so I missed a lot of that.
Uh, oh, Chris, you were saying something. Whatever. But yeah, they are, not only are they using, this emotional stuff, or that statement, I tie it into, to the ad placing, reading your emotions and your behaviors on Facebook to place certain ads in your feed.
Yeah, just furthering the AI. You know,
Well,
it's
yeah,
all part of the same plan.
I've I was recommending, for a while, we still have the alternative form of communications that are out, the other platforms that are out. I've been trying to talk to people to use other, MeWe that turned into, well, I mean, there's always MeWe. It's not quite Facebook. You can still use it. It doesn't have all the full capabilities. You want to use an alternative platform, but the limitations of moving off of Facebook is that whatever you're trying to push out there is not going to be seen by as many people as you would on these major platforms. That is the downfall. Can we work with Facebook and try and beat them? Yes, we can. But is it going to be difficult? Of course it is. I mean, even look at our page. We're having trouble beating the censorship up. I think we just got off of it.
Even if we have, they have, they have it on their psychological database.
Yeah.
Uh,
When you think about it, it's like, why do
Everybody
you even have a report
pictures.
function? I mean,
Yeah, it doesn't make any
why
sense.
is it so?
It doesn't make any sense to
Yeah,
me
why is
yet.
it so necessary to be the little ninny and report somebody? Just block them.
Well,
If you don't
a
like what
lot
they're
of these,
saying, block them, or don't go to the channel.
well, a lot of this, doesn't have anything to do with your average, daily user. On the back end, if you think about it, social media and its influence that a lot of people have on here, is for for its investors because it is a publicly traded company, um, and for political views, to start. Remember, we had the whole thing that was going on last year with the British elections. They hired was like 100,000 people to fucking start deleting accounts that didn't that were that they determined that were spam, and now it's all done AI. Well, I believe it's all done AI. I can't prove it. Um, but uh, but
It
yeah,
looks like well, with that other place, like Philippines. I mean, they're doing some of it by hand, but uh, it's just weird, man. Why people will self-limit them? If somebody's popular, they're going to grow because they're popular, and if they're spewing a bunch of hate speech, nobody, numbers wise, you're not going to get anybody to go there, and it limits itself. All this reporting and all this blame, that's just like you want to be the ninny, the Facebook police ninny, and get a bunch of people censored and essentially, bicker among yourself and do Facebook's job for them. Or I don't even get it, man.
And that really makes it
It's
harder.
it's just
Makes it
petty,
harder.
petty bullshit.
well, I know because of what happened last year. It did hit the anon community and a lot of the activist communities. Pretty hard, especially with the loss of accounts. Me and Micro were talking about it. Um, um, but essentially, what Facebook is doing, is picking and choosing, what is popular. It's not what's trending. It's not what people like. It's how they put it in your feed.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah,
say what you want to see.
well, they're going after, it's morphed not from just the reporting now into the other censorship. It's like, well, you know what, we just really don't like your politics, and now it's like, well, now we don't like your hate speech, or it just keeps morphing, engulfing more people. Now it's everybody. Hey, you know what, we just don't like what you're saying, and we're going to feed you a bunch of propaganda, and there you go.
Did I tell you? Did I tell you once I lost
Yeah.
That's that's
once I lost an account for promoting? I did. I believe it was really. I don't even think it was reported. I once lost an account for promoting an alternative platform to Facebook.
yeah. They don't let you post the short URLs or
Oh yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah.
there's a malicious link. Yeah,
Well, they say it's for your protection. Now are they actually protecting you against certain malicious links? Yes, but are they limiting links?
yeah.
Of course they are. They are not letting certain links go through to Facebook that they don't deem as right or with their views.
I mean,
So,
I had people actually logged you out of your Facebook account and have thousands of people quite literally logging themselves out of Facebook, which was hilarious as hell.
well,
You're not allowed to post till April 2nd. I get it
Yeah,
where
it's
they
just,
wanted
via the corporate structure, they found a great way to censor your free speech.
um,
They finally, they finally done it so it's like you can't. Well, you can still argue that, and a lot of people should that are getting censored heavily, that businesses and all that. Hey, what you're doing is illegal.
what
Your mission statement and your fine print. None of that stuff says you can just kick me off of Facebook because you don't like me. That's not what it says.
Well, so I do know some major news sites that have been that were censored by Facebook, especially what was going on all last year. RT was on that list for a little bit. There was a couple of days where you couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always want to know when I was checking the down detector, man. They look like they've been having problems all week.
Who?
Facebook down detector. It'll show you login, total blackout, pictures. You'll get a post a picture and it'll refresh, and your picture is not even there to be posted again and again. To actually get it to post.
Well, you know as well as I do, there are a bunch of groups out there that constantly attack Facebook on a digital level, like every fucking day.
You got your PETA hunters, you got your animal right hunters, you got your racist feminism hunters. Yeah, everybody.
I lost a little bit of that
Yeah.
combo.
Well,
I mean,
they're gonna get
I
attacked that much more, right? If they just kick people off,
oh
because
yeah,
now it's like, hey, now I got no reason not to. You kicked me off, you asshole. I mean.
Yeah, there's a better way of getting back at them. Hold on, let me see how much they're worth today. Hold on.
I got 99 per, so don't worry.
All right, Facebook stock is worth $172, right? $172 right now. Everybody, if you play the stock market, just stop investing in Facebook and make it drop down to zero. There you go. Hit him where it hurts.
Yeah,
Well,
stop posting.
how do they justify that price? I mean, come on.
I remember like 2 or 3 years ago, it wasn't even worth fucking. God.
30 or 40 or,
Yeah. Yeah. Let me look at their history. Hold on.
Oh yeah, Heather, I actually helped sue Facebook, Heather, for still selling them of myself to my family members. Well, I actually did. I actually have the letter for that still.
Uh, 2 years ago, yeah, it was, or last year, it was at around that level. Over the last year, it's gone
wow.
up that much. Yeah.
Whew,
Yeah.
that's fluff.
Yeah, but I was gonna say I think the CFO or CEOs, besides Zuckerberg, have a majority share of a lot of this shit. So, I mean, there are whoever's invested, their money into it. I'd highly suggest just throwing your shares out if you play the stock market. The same thing with Google.
Now, I mean, here's where, Google has, like when you go after and delist like an Alex Jones or a Breitbart or one of these bigger outfits, I mean, you're actually hurting your own business because that's a lot of ad revenue that, yeah, you're hurting them, but you're hurting your own business. Except that Google's so big they don't care. They can actually play that game of politics, with your advertising, and it really doesn't hurt Google.
You know what?
It totally,
You know what's scaring the shit out of me though is like I will go to and I've told is you go on a page, right? You'll do a Google search, you'll search for some shit, right? Like let me look at this air flight, this airplane, or let me look at Virgin Air, right? You'll go on Virgin Air, right? No biggie, whoop-de-doo. I did a Google search. It's probably been catched, right? And then you'll go to a news site, right? A news site. Lo and behold, what comes into your feed in the advertisements? The shit that you just looked at. The advertisements for
Mm.
this. Yeah.
You're surfing
Yeah.
eBay and all of that.
Yeah.
You're getting
Exactly.
advertised what you were looking at.
Yeah.
Your user terms and agreements. You're being listened to. You're being watched. All
Well,
your shit's being
there's a lot of
covered.
evidence, especially with Google Earth and Google Maps, and they've been doing a lot of back work, with the government.
Oh yes. Oh,
There's an
it's
ex.
all one.
There was a guy, only been messaging, right? Um, hasn't responded. He's a book. Um, I haven't really I don't know. Should I even talk about this? So there's this guy that he's ex CIA, and he's been talking a lot of some of the topics that we've covered, of what they're doing, but he used to work with them. He's only verifying what we already know. You know.
It's just making jumbled up. Oh, not jumbled, but you know what I mean.
Am I coming in jumbled?
He did there for a second.
No, no.
So you say this guy worked for Google?
No, he worked for the CIA. He worked for the CIA. Yeah, he's detailing, telling people in depth, the difference between the deep state and the shadow government, how it all ties in together. He's written a couple of books. Do I believe some of the stuff that he's saying is 100% dead on? I do. You know, um, God, what's his name? I'll have to pull it up.
Yeah, we used to have antitrust laws. I mean, in this country, around the turn of the last century, to combat the big oil companies and undue influence and all that. But we it looks like we've given up on that. We enjoy large multinational companies telling us what to do now and telling the government what to do.
Yeah, but in the end, that doesn't benefit the average everyday citizen.
No, 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 it doesn't. It gives you that corporate control that they like. Good for the authoritarians in the corporate world and the government, but yeah, it doesn't do much for the guy on Main Street.
Well, I mean, the way the shit is going, and the fact that you're seeing the fall of an empire, there might not be much left before it all fucking goes to shit. I mean, financially. I mean,
Well, look at how
once the money runs out with the government, then basically, what they're gonna tell us as average citizens, figure it out yourself. You know, that's basically what they're gonna tell you. That's what they're gonna tell you. They don't give a shit about you.
Yeah, they'll just tell you we fucked up, we're broke, and we don't know what to do about it. And
Yeah,
you'll get
but
this
look,
massive inflation.
just keep watching the Dow and the Nasdaq. Watch that. The Dow is has
watch,
money in everything.
watch.
Dow Jones Industrial.
The second we declare
Huh?
bankruptcy, as a nation, I wouldn't be surprised, if shit starts becoming Chinese around here, you know.
Oh yeah, be
Oh yeah.
something.
They're
Well, that's what they
about
did. That's what they
a
did with
lot of land, and I think
that's what they did with Greece. They started selling off their shit to different
Yeah,
nations.
yeah, all these tablets and statues,
The, that's not the great Statue of
and they're
Liberty.
already getting land here. They'll take that.
Let's see.
So,
Oh. Let me see one subject we didn't get onto.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, what we were talking about on the back end was yeah. So what was going on in Spain?
what's going on in Spain? What they got going?
Uh
Well, let's see. The Catalonia is.
oh. What just happened?
Facebook down.
You there, Preston?
I'm zoning out. Okay. Now, the Spanish government, Catalonia wants to referendum on leaving the Spanish government, and Spain, the federal government of Spain, essentially doesn't want to allow them to take a vote. So they're threatening to take the finances away from Catalonia if they continue to try to have this vote.
Wow.
So they're censoring votes.
So you control the people.
Yeah, I mean, the process has been followed. I mean, this vote should take place, but I mean, what you're seeing is how far these people will go to try to shut down a vote, which they're probably going to lose, and then you're really going to see a crisis. You probably have a Spanish constitutional crisis at some point here.
Yeah.
You're censoring votes, Hey, censoring's big and trendy right now, isn't it? I mean, so hey, let's just, we'll find another way to do that too.
Yeah.
We're not going to keep you from voting. We're just going to take your money away from you. How about that? How's that grab you?
Yeah.
Nothing personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? You
Isn't
don't
it?
need it anyways.
Yeah, isn't that what they told the people in Greece? We're going to give you a haircut. I mean, this is like the mafia talking. Yeah, we're going to give you a haircut. We're just going to take this 50 grand out of your account just because that's what the good guys do, right? They steal your money. We're just giving you a haircut, though. I mean, the
Haircut.
language. Yeah, the language they come up with is just so ridiculous. It's like, who are you people?
Criminals.
Where do you come up with that shit? It's like, yeah, you're a bunch of wise guys.
Coming soon to America. Censorship. Started
They've
going
been
off.
working on that anyways for years.
They're just hitting you from every angle, man. That's what I see. It's just like, golly, it's like, the message from the government is shut up, slave. That's the deal. We're tired of hearing you. This whole free speech thing got out of hand. We really don't want to hear you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, your First Amendment. Yeah, don't pay attention to that shit. Don't apply in court.
Yeah, of course they're going to tell you it's an old document because they're tired of. They don't like it that way. They like the corporate style where they bark orders and you jump as high as they tell you to jump. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, sir, good slave, yeah. That's
Yeah.
what we want.
Do it now.
We don't want a bunch of surly, arrogant citizens, telling us how they're pissed off with the government because all the stupid shit we do. They don't want to hear that. I tell you. But it's true. I mean, if we were just a bunch of whiners, Tyler, for no cause, all right, that's okay. Hey, you got us. You got a point. We're just a bunch of whiners.
Yeah.
But the deal is, you guys really suck and suck bad. That's why we're complaining. Okay, we don't like it.
And they're probably gonna get us nuked. What the fuck happened yesterday, man? Like, you cannot leave. You cannot leave. Have you ever noticed that Trump, when he talks, he sounds like he's got a bunch of marbles in his mouth. Like, I don't know. Like, somebody just put them back in his mouth so he doesn't say something fucking stupid. Jesus fucking Christ.
It's time for a WWE match between Trump and
Rocket Man.
Fat Boy. Well, I call him Fat Boy, but okay.
Like I don't know. Like I don't see this working out very well. Like if if you know, because he says that we would Kim Jong Un once told Japan or and the U.S. that he would bury us in a lake of a lake of he would bury us in fire. He's like the crazy kid that will really do what he says. you know
Well, his dad wanted to make pudding out of our bones.
what?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
He did. Oh yeah, he always wanted to make pudding out of our bones. Out of and in pudding, have some.
Well, does the U.S. does the U.S. military and everyday citizen really want to challenge whether North Korea will really do what they say, or I don't know. Like what I saw happen at the UN was, I don't know. It's like, holy fuck, this is
It's
really fucking happening.
well, I think the problem is it all just looks so staged and set up, which it is. Because I mean, if you look at what's going on, it's just like, are we seriously like going to start World War III over this bullshit? I mean, it just doesn't feel right. It's not like an actual problem. This guy doesn't pose a problem for us, other than in our minds. See, that's where it's all coming from.
Because he's launching duds over countries, and
Yeah, I
going
mean,
up.
these
Yeah,
missiles, it's like, hey, forget the fucking missiles, man. If it wasn't for the missiles, there wouldn't be any problem, right? What is it about the missiles and the fact that they're going over Japan that pisses us off? I don't get it.
I don't know.
Is our
This,
biggest
this,
supporter. We get
this,
everything.
yeah, this threat. If anybody should be pissed off, hey, the Japanese maybe. I don't know, I could see that, but even so, it's just like because if that's all this guy can do, doesn't that tell you that it's just pretty weak? It's not worth it.
Probably get more done by throwing rocks across the ocean and skip it right over.
Well, if he just bum rushed us with everybody, and just he came across the border,
Yes.
that's going to do a whole lot more than these rockets. I mean, you couldn't stop that.
Well, I was going to say, to the citizens, they treat him as though he's like some supernatural creature. I believe it's rumored that he doesn't take a shit. I'm not joking.
Oh, come on, man!
What?
How do you do
How
that?
do you not take a shit?
I don't know.
That's medically impossible.
Does he have somebody do it for him?
Well, they call him the supreme leader.
He probably shits when nobody's looking if there's out the window.
Well, unless he's got a colostomy, he's got to take a dump somehow. I mean, right? I mean, how else did you do it?
The trouble.
Or wait a minute, now it could be like maybe he thinks he's a royal, Tyler, and he has a groom of the stool, like the king and queen do. Could that be what it is?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm curious now. I mean, I want to figure this out.
Like, some of the shit I hear coming out of North Korea, like, it doesn't surprise me. Like, I found out that there were government warehouses that were making street drugs to finance the government. Um, specifically, they were making manufacturing. What was it, heroin and methamphetamine? Uh, they were caught. Well, the FBI, I don't know. The FBI said that they were involved in that digital bank heist, and they were also stealing a cryptocurrency off of the Bithum market. I don't know.
Well, they did.
Well, I mean, in all reality, because of all the sanctions, I guess that's what they have to resort to get money. What kind of natural resources do they have besides rockets?
Coal.
Coal.
Yeah, coal.
I'm sorry, dude.
There's
Oh,
no telling. What is most of their labor's come from South Korea, hasn't it?
the what?
Most of their labor and stuff comes from South Korea, anyways, doesn't it?
No, I think they get most of their stuff from China. That's about the only trade they have. I mean, there's a little bit, there are goodwill missions between the North and South, but
That's right. They're in control of the South
otherwise, yeah,
Koreans.
it's mainly the Chinese
Yeah.
buying their coal and
Well, they do sell legitimate opium, but when I found out that they were actually involved in manufacturing, I don't know if it's illegal in their country. I have no clue what North Korea's drug laws is, but there were a lot of these stories coming out of government labs making methamphetamine.
Uh, it keeps you from getting the flu. How true that is, but yeah, it's got processed like it might not for sure.
I don't know.
But we're getting the flu.
I don't know.
Dude.
Just personally, I'm nauseated by having to watch both of them
Oh,
saber
both.
rattle. This bullshit saber rattling. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's.
nauseating,
I
man.
know.
That's what it is.
Seriously, like I've been saying this for a while. You know how disputes between countries should be fought. They should really just get the two leaders out in the fucking yard and beat the shit out of each
That'd be more entertaining than having to watch
other.
those two guys and Nikki Haley. I mean, she's
Uh,
another clueless wonder. God, man.
Get out there and go at it like a pair of gladiators.
Well, instead of having hundreds of thousands of people, fight the wars, why don't the political leaders just duke it out? You know?
That would be kind of a fair fight because, I mean, even though he's got some years on Trump, he's so fat that Trump might actually have a pretty good chance. So it's a pretty fair fight.
I don't know if Trump has ever been in a fist fight in his life.
It's probably been in more than Obama.
Yeah, now that I think of it, he's kind of a dick.
Hey, can't we just now? Shouldn't we
Then
just send
he
dinner?
can't fight
Can't
who
we?
don't watch porn. Never watch porn and been in a fight. I'm not going to trust you.
Can't we
What?
just send Dennis Rodman over there and make all this good?
Yeah, what the hell is up with that?
Already
What the hell is up with that? So our nationals aren't allowed to go there, but the only person that is allowed to go there is Dennis Rodman. And here's the weird thing: is do you think that Dennis Rodman was bugged while he was there?
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
And had something in them
It, it,
earrings. And it's not a tattoo.
I mean, it's like the weirdest relationship I've ever seen. It works for whatever reason, but it's like, hey, there's your guy right there that could smooth the whole thing over. He's an unlikeliest guy on the planet, but fuck, let's send Dennis Rodman over there and smooth this whole thing out. It worked before.
Watch, we have a guest
And it
caller.
didn't work this time.
Kim Jong Un is on the line. You talking about my American friend,
That's right.
Dennis Rodman?
Oh, man.
Hey,
They're
whatever
saying
works. Yeah, I mean,
that movie in the interview.
I don't understand it, but hey, whatever works. I mean, the trouble. Hey, that's the trouble with this government. See, they don't think outside of the box. You got a solution right there to the palm of your hands.
Just bring in Dennis.
Yeah.
In other news, uh, you hear about that shit with Hillary's book? So
Oh,
she,
how I lost.
Some owner?
yeah,
Is that what
yeah,
it was? Third coffee adder?
yeah. I told you I was listening to fucking crazy Alex Jones and shit. So apparently, Alex, she can't sell her book or promote her book in normal places. So she's promoting her book in Costco's and censoring the people that can and can't come into the Costco's when she's coming and seeing her books.
Well, she's all about censorship, so that part makes sense.
Yeah,
Good.
And
Let her
rigging
have a
elections,
toast.
so
yeah. She's also paying Amazon to get rid of her 1-star reviews. I
yeah.
I don't know
I
because
mean, it's just more of that fake perception, deception world they like to feed you. The fake plastic and lies, man.
well,
Just more of the
they
same.
say wherever Hillary goes, there's dead bodies, everywhere.
Yeah. Now the weird thing about that Costco thing was she did this book signing right next to the toilet paper aisle. That's what everybody's just like. You guys don't seem to understand the optics of what you've just done here. It's kind of weird that the your back wall is actually the
Wallpaper.
backside of the toilet paper aisle. You know, that's telling, man. That's telling.
Yeah. Yeah, she was telling. She was actually ordered. I guess apparently she has Secret Service. I wasn't aware that she had Secret Service helping her out. But says yeah, she was using the Secret Service to censor people that were Costco
Yeah.
customers to go in there, which I'm not sure was in the budget of or an official doctrine that the Secret Service can censor who can come into a facility. I don't know.
Well, they just do whatever the hell they want.
Pretty much.
She's got qualified immunity and whatever diplomatic immunity, so just she can do whatever the hell she wants. If she kills people, which she has, that's okay.
Yeah, she can suicide anybody she wants to.
What was her book name again? Mein Kampf.
Yeah.
How I lost.
Oh, how I lost.
Excuses for my failures.
I don't know. When it came to the last election, we had a choice between one loser and another one, and I just would America be different if Hillary was here? I don't see anything different. I just see the crazy shit with Trump not being said, but I see the exact same moves being made. A lot of people said, they they're both sides of the same coin, but could you
It's a
imagine?
coin with two heads on it.
Yeah.
You flip it, and you get either heads or heads. So it's heads for them, tails for us. We lose.
Uh,
Trump was. I mean, this is what kills me. Is like how people have forgotten how Trump is a New York liberal who was a Clintonite from the '90s. I mean, I just it's like you talk about people have short memory, man.
well, not only
You know.
that, like he stands for
So
nothing.
how,
He stands for nothing. I mean, like you might think that he has like the best interest in or people who jump on that fucking stupid ass fucking Trump wagon, but he stands for nothing.
he's flip flopping, and
he'll
playing the
say one
game here.
he'll
Yeah,
say
it's like
one thing and then you
that's
let him be Donald Trump with his fucking Twitter account when the Secret Service give him back his whatever device he's using and he fucking puts stupid shit out.
and they want to censor the president too. See, I mean, censorship has no bounds, man. Like we're going to take his Twitter account away from him. Really, from the president? No kidding. Wow, who gets to decide that?
Eh,
And since when? What's that?
I had some caffeine.
Well,
Oh, that's right.
yeah, yeah. Uh, well, we'll see. We'll see if Kim Jong says anything in the next couple of days. Um, we'll see anything that happens in the next couple of days. With Kim Jong. I doubt he's gonna say anything, but there's a chance that he might say something or do another military drill. It's almost
well,
predictable.
Oh, he's doing one right now.
now are you picking up on our rhetoric now? We're actually talking about preemptive attacks. Because we know he's gonna. This is like pre-crime. It's because like we know he's gonna attack. We're gonna attack first. You see how that works?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a done deal now. It's
Yeah. Yeah. I guess they were saying in the UN when the North Korean ambassador had walked out, it was a form of protest. But
yeah.
I'm not so sure about that. They'd be like, get on the plane, get on the plane, get on the plane now. You're leaving.
It's all a lot about nothing to me. I think it's comical, honestly.
Rocket Boy.
I mean, we're gonna
Rocky.
have a we're gonna have a big old hissy fit over some guy throwing some missiles up in the air.
So he has more tanks.
That's all. That's all
Yes.
it is, right? That's all that's happening. That's what's so ridiculous about it. Why this fixation with this guy? Oh, he fired another missile. Holy crap! Like we don't do that almost every day. Like putting up commercial satellites and all these probes to all these planets and everything. I mean, it's like we're launching rockets like every day.
Yeah, but I guess we don't say officially that we're gonna bury other countries in fire,
Oh,
which makes
oh,
it
we don't.
okay. But that makes it okay politically, I guess.
So
uh,
that's provocative. But if we say we're going to burn you to a cinder, that's not provocative.
hold on.
That's
I just
not the
I
meaning.
I just want to keep my rhetoric straight.
Let me see if I got a picture of Rocket Man. I'm just gonna put it up here. Rocket Man. Ah.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, here we go. I'm gonna put it up there. Plus image. Pictures. What the?
So between long, awkward silences,
Yeah.
there's usually more people here in this
Yeah,
place.
I know. All right, there he is.
Dude, wow. I have to send you this one of Donald Trump and Kim Jong Un riding in the car after setting off a nuke. Matter of fact, on Facebook.
Well, what was kind of stupid, and in retaliation to what Trump had said about he talked about the denuclearization was the only solution for Kim Jong Un, right? All right, Trump, you didn't think this one out, stupid fuck. Who has one of the biggest nuclear arsenals in the world? Crickets. Crickets. Oh, you only have to look around you, man.
China or U.S.?
Yeah. Well, actually, it's actually Russia and the U.S., but I mean, it's not a realistic solution to to what he was saying at the UN. I mean, in retaliation, when it comes to denuclearization or getting rid of nuclear weapons, U.S. should, look in their own pockets. Um, you know, and the rumors that I've heard, and I've talked about this quite in depth, is that the guidance systems, because they're so fucking old, they're using 5.5-inch floppy disks for some of the guidance systems on these nuclear weapons. Yes.
I can't even find a 3.5 page drive for my own machine to get old stuff out. Pictures.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah. Probably running off an old Commodore 64. There you go.
Wow. Trans too, huh?
Yeah, I like the Commodore 64, man. That was a good machine.
Using
Yeah, but
Windows 98 was bad.
would you trust a thermonuclear warhead that's so old it has to run off a 5.5-inch floppy disk with the fucking 1.2 kilobytes of RAM? Like, sure that shit'll
Apple
work, man.
II. Apple II, right? Fortran Apple II. That is. Oh man.
Well, I think the
An
good thing
Atari
would be
also.
it'd be hard to hack it, because like nobody would know how the hell to get to a Commodore 64 with a 300 baud modem. I mean, it's like,
you're like,
whoa.
does this shit still work, man? I don't know. Fucking put in the floppy disk.
Yeah, and honestly, compared to the operating system you got now from Microsoft, Windows 10, and all the rest of this crap, it's probably got a whole lot less vulnerabilities than the shit that's coming out now.
I'll
Because
check
honestly,
my
I mean,
Facebook wall for that other one.
I don't remember getting viruses with a Commodore 64, man. Maybe I forgot, but I don't remember that happening.
I'm not sure if a lot of that was going. I mean, that was like way before the internet, but they still had modem to
Yeah.
modem dialing. So
You had to put your landline phone on a cradle for it to pick up.
yeah,
So I guess since the computer barely worked, there wasn't enough CPU time to actually run any hacker stuff. It wouldn't even load into memory. And
gosh, I hate to see the embarrassing cyber farm they have running on RAID 2 and RAID 10.
well, you're like, hey, your thermonuclear warheads are still run on floppy disks. Oh, fuck.
What is this reel to reel here?
Oh, you mean one of those tape
Some
decks?
of our younger crowd probably like, what is a 5.5 AM reel to reel?
8-track.
God, no.
What was I gonna say? When Trump was giving his speech, there were more people that were leaving when he was saying that it wasn't just the ambassador of North Korea. So there were other people walking out when Trump was talking, which was kind of hilarious. Did you see his fucking tweet on that?
Uh-uh.
No, I don't have Twitter, thank God.
Trump tweet. Kim.
That's the problems with Twitter and Facebook.
Oh God. What did he say?
I'll be down in 24 hours. I'll make another profile in 12 hours. I'll be down another 24 hours.
Did they delete it?
Vicious cycle. Yeah.
They're censoring the
This is not
president
your real
again.
name.
How dare they do that?
Oh God. I spoke with President Moon of South Korea last night and asked him how Rocket Man is doing. Long gas lanes forming in North Korea. Too bad. At the real Donald Trump.
It's just all too weird, man.
Twitter, man. It's actually more watched in real time than Facebook is. But
Well, it's almost hilarious that we have a political we have the president, who has literally no filter or restraint, and just kind of says whatever he wants to, and give him a Twitter account.
it's funny. He's kind of like I actually think he might visit 4chan.
It might be on 4chan.
Yeah, yeah, you might find him on 4chan. I mean, Trump,
Will he be will he
the
be
man's
will he be
smart.
anonymous?
Will he be a keck?
This is probably who made the meme of this lady's butt. It looked like Cartman.
Yeah.
Probably
Well,
had
don't miss your
somebody
chance
do that for him.
to troll them on 4chan.
Yeah.
Trump don't give a shit, man. I think he likes to be called a motherfucker at least once a day. He's not happy unless he's called a motherfucker once a day. I'm sure. He's one of them that don't think his job's done until he's called something just so rude and foul.
Yeah.
Well, he's definitely got all these lefties wound up in their hate, man. I mean, he's got that down. It doesn't seem no matter what he says. I mean, they get just spitting mad frenzy, you know.
Yeah.
He's old and he can't satisfy himself no more. What's the Alice?
Let me see. What else can I talk about? Let me pull it back to one of our other topics that we were talking about on the show at the beginning. So try and get your um, event pages started up on Facebook to our listeners for the Million Mask March, which will be on November 5th. If you don't see one out there, start making one yourself. Remember that when you start a Facebook event page that is not tied to a public page, or if you're doing one on your own personal page, just remember that they're set to private, not public, by default. But yeah, it's time we have to start planning now to start getting our event pages up for the Million Mask March. What else? What else? What else? I don't know. I don't have any other topics.
Well, the one I saw just before coming on was it was an RT report about the Obama administration did wiretap that Manafort before and after the election.
Huh.
Wow. They were really worried about Trump getting office for some reason. What's up with that?
Yeah, it's more help for Hillary. You know, that info probably they had to go back to the party. I mean, that's what it was all about, is to try to get inside and see what they were doing. I mean, that's how sad it is. I mean, she needs to come up with the grandest excuse of them all about how she lost despite all the rigging and the vote rigging and the primary rigging and the fact that you were wiretapping Trump and the whole campaign, and you guys still lost. I mean, God,
Whatever
that is.
happened to accountability? Well, whatever happened to that? You know, you're held accountable for your own actions. I'm sure just as soon as one of us gets in trouble and winds up before the man, you're accountable for your own actions. But you know, these people are.
Well, that's how things work once you get into political power and have millions of dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, but see,
You're
you're
kind
not a
of immune.
Jezebel. You know, you're not a Jezebel who's also a psychopath. See, then it all makes sense. then it's not your fault. It's all the assholes around you. It's not your craven criminal personality that everybody hates. That's not the problem.
That's narcissism, isn't it?
That too.
I mean,
But you
I
got it
would say,
all,
I mean,
man. I mean, it's
if I was, at Hillary's level, I could practically get away with murder. Dun-dun-ch. Oh, that was a shitty joke.
yeah. You could write a white paper on her. Well, you could write a whole volume of white papers on her.
I thought it was almost comical that she said she was gonna be a minister or a priest or whatever the fuck she was gonna be. Remember that? She was.
Yeah. Well, she should be. Because I want to see what shirt she opens. I think it's going to have something to do with Lucifer, personally.
The Church of Satan.
I really, yeah. Because when she talks about the God of this world, it's not what you think. You got to read between the lines.
It's
No, I mean, yeah. Get ready.
Yeah, I don't know. Weren't there some like rituals described in one of her books and in Mein Kampf or whatever the fuck she wrote?
Well, yeah, in one of her older books, actually called My Struggle.
Nice struggle.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, Mike.
Yeah, does that ring a bell? Anybody?
Yeah, only crazy guy with a short little mustache. He titled the book the same thing. A lot of dead bodies around him. I don't know. His first name started with an A, ended with an R.
Yeah. Likes killing people. They got that in common too.
I don't know. Maybe one of these days, something will land on her. I don't know. Maybe. The only reason I don't think anything lands on her, I think because she's got so much shit on anybody that nobody can fuck. That she's got that immunity status,
Yeah.
What'll happen is somebody will stab herself in the back 35 times and jump off a bridge.
Well, you can tell from this book, that what really bothers her is not getting. She felt entitled. She feels like it was her turn.
Well, that's not the way that things. That's not the way that things work here. Don't you know everything's rigged? That's not the people's choice. You rigged and you got rigged out.
No, Trump admitted he paid his way in. All his money is what got him in. He had more money to run his campaigns than what she did, and had the backing from all these other big corporations that some have left him now because of that mouth, I guess. A lot of sponsors. And he had the money. And I'm sure he's still got the money. But the money is what got him in there.
Well, yeah, notoriety with all the shows. Even if they were reality shows, it still got his face out there.
Yeah, wasn't John F. Kennedy an actor? Was it John F. Kennedy?
Who?
He was in a movie, yeah, that he played. Well, that PT 109, yeah.
Yeah, PT 109. Yeah, sure.
What did you just say? JFK was an actor? What?
Yeah, JFK was an actor. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a movie which was actually pretty good. If I remember, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I think it was called PT 109, and that was like there was the old wooden Navy boats that they used that were called that.
Huh. This is back during John Wayne and Elvis Presley era too. So.
Yeah.
Wasn't Reagan acting around then too? Reagan was an actor.
Reagan?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was back in that era.
He became president too.
Well, I always remember that photo from Bohemian Grove where it's Reagan, Nixon. There was like 3 to-be presidents in that picture. and cabinet members. And this was taken like in the 50s, but it's like Reagan, Nixon, and who was the other one? And you're just like, wow, man. I mean, you talk about things being rigged and fixed. I mean, the fix was in way, way ahead of the time.
Well, don't you know that you need to do the summer festival, and you do a bunch of weird satanic rites for two
Yeah,
weeks, and
yeah.
then you're in that lottery pool, and then you're
A
in.
few per, a few prayers to Moloch, and you're good.
But I wonder if Trump was there, man. And maybe he wasn't there. Maybe he wasn't with the cool kids. It wouldn't
Yeah, they're
surprise me.
saying. I mean,
He
it's kind of
might.
unusual. I mean, he doesn't seem to be part of any secret society, which
Some
you know
people were
that'll
saying
that.
some people were saying he was a Mason, but I'm like, he's stupid to be a
Mm,
Mason.
Oh man,
yeah, I
man.
don't know. I don't have any info on that. I'd be interested.
And his dad was a member of the KKK. But, yeah,
Is that verified though? A lot of
he
people
might
there
have
was a
a lot
lot
of.
of hearsay of him being linked to the KKK, but they were photoshopped. All those pictures were photoshopped. You know, the ones where he was with those people and they were wearing Ku Klux Klan member.
Oh,
Yeah, those were doctored. Those were doctored photos.
yeah, you gotta
They weren't
watch
even.
They
that.
did
They
a
weren't
real
even.
good job.
They weren't even well. I don't think they were. I could tell they were doctored. A little bit of Photoshop, editing and
Just turned him into a sticker.
Oh, it was you just blended everything. Kind of looks like there was nothing underneath the original photo, but the original photo came out. Of that photo, you can definitely tell that they were not wearing KKK member. But I wasn't. Is it? You said his dad was a KKK member.
I think
Dad
that's
was a
what.
Klansman.
Yeah,
That could be true.
but I believe his dad actually did have some contacts with Jewish mafia way back in. You know, when he was, let's say, in the '60s when he was building it early on. You know, there were some ties there.
Yeah, and there was also evidence of Trump. He was involved with some of the Russian mafia and some of the projects that he's built.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, well, you know. And here's the thing. I mean, you know, that can be true, but you know, at the same time, you almost have to do that in some of these countries. They're so corrupt that if you don't pay all these assholes off, all these politicians and the hijackers on the road and all of it, your stuff doesn't get to wherever it's going.
Yeah.
No. I can remember, I've heard stories. Well, this is when I was worked back for Alcoa, you know, it was like 15, 20 years ago. They had the same problem in Russia. They had to make some payoffs just so they could keep their plants over there running. You know? And you're like, holy cow, you know, it's like, what the hell? What happens? But then there's all the other stuff that's collusion and quid pro quos and that sort of stuff going on
Yeah.
behind the scenes deals. Yeah, it's hard to parse it all, but
Uh,
I guess you know what bothers me from my perspective is what I don't like is this Jared Kushner being the nephew of George Soros having that kind of contact with a president. You know, that's a problem to me. It's just a little too close to the family. Not close. It is the family. You know,
I don't know. People. Yeah, I was gonna say yeah. I was gonna go on a Soros rant, but people make him out to being something bigger than he really is. Now, is he really doing things? Yes, he is. But is he as bad as he is as powerful as people say that he is? What do you think?
well, he seems to be able to get it done in foreign countries. I don't know. You would think by now that he'd be getting it done here. I don't know why. Maybe it costs that much more money to do it in the U.S. I don't know, to really push the propaganda or whatever. But like that whole, overthrowing the Ukraine, that just, he did the same thing there, and it just looked too easy. It's just
True.
like, wow, I mean, maybe these people really were just angry and ready to go, and he just got lucky. But I mean, that was pretty surprising. So you think, well, hell, if he could do that, then he sure as hell, with ties with the Democrats, get it done on their side, over here.
Probably costs too much over
And,
here.
yeah, I mean, that's my guess. I don't. It's like, well, he seems to have a good track record of caving in all these countries. Like, maybe we're next.
Well, I was gonna say, our petrodollar is already crashing, so the dollar's devaluing as we speak. So
I don't know. I think a lot of that would have to do with the current Pope. He was known as the Black Pope, the economic hitman of things with the CIA. He knew about a lot of things. Yeah, but he was basically a hitman for the CIA for economic collapses and stuff. So I don't know about this whole Soros concept myself. Whole part just looking at attention. And supposedly now the U.S. has a way to defeat incoming missiles from North Korea. It's called the multi-layer interception system.
what'd you? Sorry, I only got like
Hmm.
a little bit of that. What'd you say?
Usually the U.S. has a multi-layer interception system that will destroy any incoming missiles from North Korea.
Oh, you mean that air? You mean that air to air? The air to air missile system.
Yeah, it used to be called the Star Wars Project, didn't it?
No, 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 no. I think that's called. I think it was called Iron Shield. Am I
Yeah,
correct?
well, yeah, it started being the Patriot missiles, right? Wasn't that the first ones? That now they got like these missile batteries of them. THAAD maybe is another one.
Or is the Iron Shield? Is that one in
Iron Shield,
Israel?
yeah, I think that was, the Israelis kind of came up
Oh
with
yeah,
that one.
yeah, yeah.
So basically, what they do is they get a shit ton of small missiles to hit one big missile out in the air. Yeah.
Like a cluster bomb, kind of. You shoot it up in the air, and it shoots out other little clusters, and it hits the whatever's in the air.
Yeah. Yeah. Supposedly that similar system was in um, at the Pentagon during 9/11, but that shit never went off.
Because your vice president gave the stand down order.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we're being attacked, but stand down.
yeah. I don't
It's
know.
all just too much to believe.
Were you saying this in regards to what Kim's been doing?
No, 9/11. I mean, just the government in total. Just especially the whole 9/11 thing. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, none
You
of
know,
that shit adds up.
yeah, this the whole. It was an inside job. I mean, it's so phony that it's obvious it was an inside job.
Oh yeah, and now we're in indefinite wars in the Middle East, so that don't seem to end. You know?
We've been at war 12 years now,
Yeah.
at least.
I think we lost Preston.
To the show now. What happened to Preston?
uh,
He running through phone.
Oh, there he is. He's back. You there, Preston?
Yeah. I don't know why I zoned out like that, but I'm trying to find a spot here that
Sleep, don't fall asleep. We'll leave you on live loop for an hour.
No, I really don't understand how I can not be getting a Wi-Fi signal when I'm 6 feet away. But
Yeah, sometimes that happens to me. I had to buy a whole new router where I was getting dropped packets and I was like literally like 20 feet away. So I had to get one of those. I had to get one of those industrial ones with like 4 fucking
Oof.
antennas on it. They can do.
oh wow,
Yeah.
no, that's probably I got an old timer, but still, it's like how can you have 3 bars and losing Wi-Fi?
Man.
Uh. Yeah. Sometimes routers they fuck up and they have to be reset. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Make sure your router is next to your most southwest window of your home.
Southwest. Why is that?
That's where the satellites are. Even when you're setting up your satellite system for your television, you point your west. That's where your signal's coming from.
Hmm. Well, no, it's not off a dish or anything. It's just internal.
As
We got cable in. I mean, I don't get it.
no, I was gonna say.
I do.
I was gonna
I
say.
allegedly have this super fast service that never seems to work right.
I was gonna say, probably, what you're dealing with is the CIA. What was it? The cherry picker. The cherry.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many vulnerabilities am I vulnerable for now with all
Dude, you know
these
what was a creepy
exploits
one?
there?
You know what was a creepy one
Yeah.
is that they were bouncing off Wi-Fi signals to try and determine where things were inside of rooms. I mean, that's like.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can use the Wi-Fi as a kind of radar, short distance penetrating radar in a way. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I wonder if they have the X-ray technology, but I'm like, the X-rays wouldn't go that far to penetrate through houses that far from the satellite. Um,
Now they are doing something like that off the PS4s, where some people have looked into what they're doing off of that system, and it's
oh,
I don't know.
are you talking about? Are you talking like? I think I don't know. It's been a while since I a gaming system, but the invisible laser system that they had with the what was it with the Xbox? Not the Xbox. Yeah, the Xbox. Yeah, that kind of freaked me out.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, wait. With like some malicious software, you could tell where somebody was in the room.
Yep. Yeah.
Ooh.
So
Of course,
I mean, if they
that's scary.
yeah, and then 99% of us are always carrying our NSA slave trackers all the time. So it's not like we're hard. We're
Your
pretty easy to
leash.
find.
And somebody says, I keep losing signal all the time, bro. Even when you have service, I lose signal even on my own secrets accounts. It depends, Tim. It really depends on how you're connected to the internet. Um, if you're connected via cellular, you're always going to be subject to, in relation on how far you are from a relay cell tower, and whether the cell tower is connected to, or how many people are on it. Some relays aren't as fast as other ones. But yeah, but when you're dealing with Wi-Fi and you're getting dropped packets, typically you're leading more towards a internal problem with the router or hardware failure.
You know.
I know I've had to deal with that shit.
Yeah, you could be using your hard drive.
Uh, with signal and drop packets, generally no. It's either my experience has always been it's sometimes routers they fuck up. I don't know. Like I was dealing with one where I was doing a torrent, and I believe some of the data was like cached or something. I don't know. I don't know the internal algorithms on the back of a Netgear old WRT, but there were times where after I would use a torrent where I couldn't connect to the light of day, and I was only getting half the speed wirelessly what I would normally have. But they tend to fuck up. They're not. Uh, they weren't designed perfectly, I can tell you that. But when you dump a lot more into a wireless home router, you generally get what you pay for. Generally, uh, I
That's electronics.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, some electronics are like that. I've been looking into some cheap electronics. Trying to play. I really want to get my hands on a Raspberry Pi, and try that out. Really haven't got my hands on one, but you can do some pretty cool shit with it. But yeah,
Yeah, they're
general.
cheap.
Yeah, they're cheap as fuck. But initially they're cheap as fuck. But once you get all the fucking, once you get all the internal fans and everything, the box, the mounts, the external hard drive, the RAM and the chip, the external antenna, yeah,
Yeah.
you start adding. It starts adding up. Yeah, you pay as much around what you would pay for a $500 laptop if you get the good shit. I mean, you can run it down and probably only spend about $200. But still not bad for a portable computer that can fit in the size of your hand.
No, no. I mean, I
No,
like the tech
that's
where it's going.
actually
Yeah.
right. Cheap as fuck.
Yeah, I was
Those are
also
right
yeah, I was also reading up on you could also make a customized RTMP streaming server using Nginx on Raspberry Pi, which I thought was kind of cool. So a little project for the future. You start streaming to, or at least use a Raspberry Pi as a server. Never thought of such a thing, but I guess you can. People doing it.
Oh wow.
Wow.
That's what I said, right? That's fucking crazy.
Everybody has their own cloud now. I was reading up on that today, and I was like, wow. I was like,
Well, the
that's,
only the
that's
only problem with
absolutely
using
true.
yeah the only problem with using a Raspberry Pi device, you wouldn't have the processor speed. If you're using RTMP or using as RTMP service, for streaming, you would have to deal with the streaming issue or the storage for the streaming because typically you like to save what you're streaming and not just letting it just show and delete itself. So you'd have to drop some money on a hard drive. So.
I see some projects, where they're doing, parallel processing these pies too. I mean, you can gang them up. I've never seen anybody do it, just like a YouTube or something. But I mean, you can get the.
Well, what I was surprised, I was looking into Bitcoin mining, and people are, I didn't realize that people were using, for these ant miners and ASIC machines, they're using for the controller, they're using Raspberry Pis.
Mm.
Eh, little powerful
Yeah,
device,
no,
little powerful computers that are mining cryptocurrency in the size of my hand.
That's all I would use it for, coin mining.
Yeah.
well,
Well, I don't know what else to talk about other than the Raspberry Pi device. Well, they
Got
say,
something to a mattress and a
well,
pillow.
they do say that, this Saturday, if the end of the world's going to happen, we'll see.
September 23rd. And it's already happening. They had their date wrong. It was August 23rd. They missed it.
They missed it by a month, like the Mayan calendar. That was the funny.
Yeah.
That was the funny thing is that a lot of people made a big thing out of December 12th, 2012, or December 25th, 2012. There was a lot of people made a hype out of it, saying that it was the end of the Mayan calendar, or when the countdown would happen. But there was a problem, I believe, with when the codex. Now, when the codex was deciphered, I think it was in the 40s. One thing that they didn't account for was when they thought year zero was. So they could have been thousands of years off. They could have been hundreds of years off. We don't know. You know.
I thought year zero would have been like 2000.
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't zero
It's already
zero.
passed.
Yeah, year zero wouldn't have been 0000 when Jesus was around. No, no, no. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting. That was kind of a misnomer because it was like the end, essentially, of a Mayan calendar year, Baktun or whatever it is. But it just restarts. You start a new cycle. I mean,
Well, that's. I mean,
the
and
whole thing of it at
there,
the end, that wasn't really true.
there was a story that they said that Quetzalcoatl would come and destroy the third world or whatever the hell they thought it was.
Yeah.
It was an elaborate trolling like War of the Worlds.
What the hell was I doing December in that year?
2012 was a while back.
Dude, what the fuck was I doing? I knew I wasn't worried about that.
Probably running by some cop giving him the finger and laughing because you just got away with giving him the finger.
Well, I mean, a lot of people were saying a lot of things about December 12th and nothing, or the 2012 and nothing happened, and I guess September 23rd is lining up with Revelation. What they're saying is Revelations 12. I'm getting misnomer information on that. There were some scholars that were saying that this alignment has happened 4 times in the last millennia, and then there are other sources that are saying that it hasn't happened. This is the first time this has happened. I don't fucking know. I'm not an astronomer. I'm not an astronomer. Nor do I know any.
The star chart say. We check those. I don't know how to read those.
Well, you'd have to essentially you would have to read star alignments in the Leo and the Virgo constellation. You'd have to do it with was it Mars, Jupiter, and whatever the fuck I think the other star is supposed to be. You'd have to look for that alignment with the sun and the moon, where they're supposed to be on the Virgo constellation. At that time, you'd have to be looking in the last 2,000 years. Or before that. So.
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe it has happened before. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure it has. I mean, but was there anybody around to notice it? It's
Galileo?
the Mayans, or maybe somebody was around.
Well, yeah, people have been watching the stars since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
It kind of amazes me that people think that ancient man wasn't that advanced.
What creates a stargazer?
What?
Socrates,
Who?
however you want to say it.
Stargate?
Socrates.
Oh, Socrates.
What about a stargazer? A philosopher.
Philosopher, yeah. Well, a lot of philosophers were, anyways. I mean, went out there, because it would go all the way back to Greek times.
Well, Socrates was a little crazy as well. Wasn't Socrates? He was offered because I forget. I was so high in class. I should have paid attention a little better. And when I was in college, yeah, and yeah,
Not
somehow,
high school, college.
Oh, okay. All
yeah,
right.
college, yeah, yeah. I remember falling asleep in class and then coming to and hearing about Socrates, and I believe he was offered. I think he the way that he died, he was offered to leave and be banished and never return to his home, but he said "fuck that," and he took the option of drinking the henbane and dying. So he was I don't think he was all. I don't think he. I think he was warned about saying some of the things that he was saying. Was it him or Plato? Was it Socrates or Plato?
Mm. Well, that was the trick way back then, is to, if you did have if you were into politics and an activist, you had to be clever about the plays that you wrote. You could try to throw a little politics in there and put a jab at the king or whatever, but if you went too far, you were going to get killed.
Well, it happened to one of those two. They
You
said
had to be
too much.
clever.
Yeah, they said too much.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the same with Archimedes. No. I was gonna say
Yeah.
without Archimedes, they would never have. What he invented the formula for density, or no, to measure volumes. Remember the King's Gold and all that?
Um, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Densities.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Correct. Yeah, he came up with the Archimedes screw. What he's.
Remember how do you ever hear the story about how he came up with that shit? With the theory, is that his wife told him to take a bath, and he was in the bath, and he noticed that when he got into the bath, the water had rised, and he figured that was a way to measure the weight of gold.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the displacement. Well, he was making a tie-in there with displacement and density. Uh, that was the eureka moment, right?
Yeah, the eureka moment.
Okay.
Yeah. Whether it actually happened, we'll never know.
What about the Mandela effect?
Oh, with
Oh
CERN,
God.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know, man. There's some I don't know, like when somebody told me about the Mandela effect, like it kind of like freaked me out. Like the things that we remember stuff are not the way that we remember them, and things that we think that had happened were not the way that they had happened. Uh, remember we were talking about that when we had the CERN show
Yeah.
on how there's never been a Jiffy peanut butter, but yet I remember eating Jiffy peanut butter. And then apparently in the Wizard of Oz there was a scarecrow who had a gun. I never remember the scarecrow having a gun when I watched it.
Hmm.
Queen, we are the champions, and with we are the champions of the world. And then apparently it has always ended, we are the champions, and that's how it ends. I don't know. They were saying,
I think the NBA co-opted that song. That's where you remember hearing it. It's because you always hear that shit when the NBA team wins.
that I would
They've
hear the.
modified that. That's what got it in your ear.
But how could I remember?
Yeah.
How could I have a childhood memory of getting sick off of Jiffy peanut butter and specifically remember saying Jiffy? Unless I'm my memory's so fucked up that you can't remember the shit, right?
Smoke a lot of good pot.
I did smoke a lot of good pot back in the day.
Well, I mean, see, I think that's like a convolution of Skippy and Jif.
Could
And you
be.
thought Jiffy, Skippy, Jiffy. I mean, I know what you're saying because I have that same kind of memory, but it's like, well,
Oh, the
just
Berenstain Bears are apparently spelled different than I thought. Um, there was also some priest that a lot of people thought had died and he was still alive. Um, Sex in the City was never Sex in the City. It was Sex and the City. And then
yeah, yeah.
but the only thing that was weird about what they're calling the Mandela effect, if you want to tie it into Nelson Mandela, there's a statue of Nelson Mandela in I believe it's in South Africa, that has a. They had to remove it. there inside of the statue of Nelson Mandela there was a white rabbit, and with CERN there was, this is kind of a weird coincidence. There was a White Rabbit project for CERN.
What were they doing?
I think it had to deal with atomic clocks and synchronizing everything with alignment to the particle accelerator. I don't know. I just thought it was a little creepy that there was even a rabbit in the ear of Nelson Mandela in this metal statue.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah. Oh, Mikey with Life cereal. Wait, Everton says Mikey with Life cereal. Wait. Yeah. Remember with Life cereal, it always says Mikey likes it. Like was that real? Wait, that's the way I remember Life cereal. Yeah, they used to say Mikey likes it. Remember? But I don't remember Mikey. Oh shit. One of those certain moments. Well, the theory is that they were saying that when CERN was doing what they were doing, they had created an actual black hole and created an alternate timeline. This is what people have been saying for a while, and that what we are remembering is an alternate timeline, or that we are the people from the alternate timeline on a different timeline. I don't understand that one. That one's too much of a mind. That one's too much of a mind fuck for me. That'd be like, wait, I have to draw this on paper to figure this one out.
Yeah, you have to believe that time is like another element that can be twisted and turned and manipulated like any element, and kind of flows and pattern, swirl patterns, to create something like that.
Well, I mean, it does line up with what people do call is polydimensional reality. A couple of big what they call quantum physicists have talked about it. So when an event happens on a timeline, right? There could be whether it's done or not can create an alternate timeline, whether it's done or not. So if we go back to what a lot of people would call the Big Bang, with hydrogen, the hydrogen mass that at the beginning of what they believe was the beginning of the universe, not going off, creating an alternate timeline, or splitting off and creating different elements on our periodic table that aren't the ones that are there, and so on and so on and so on and so on. So let's say that if I don't go and open up this door that's behind me, and I do something else that I've created in a different timeline, I don't know. That would get too confusing. That would mean that there are a Googleplex of like alternate realities,
Well, and there probably are, if what they're saying is true, that you're in an 11-dimensional universe, then that would make sense.
11 dimensions. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Well, I know in a fourth dimensional, I think the fourth dimension would be time, right?
X, Y, Z, and T. But no, we're the.
Oh, I'm sorry. Look, fellas, I'm struggling to stay awake unless you want to hear
is to
about
tell
15
you that
minutes of snoring.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but when you say 11 dimensions, that just like baffles my mind. Like,
yeah, because they've come up with some equations that
Good night,
say
everyone.
that gravitons can exist in a 6-dimensional space and bosons in an 11-dimensional space. Now, I have no clue how these physicists and mathematicians came up with this shit. I'm just trying to understand the result of what they're saying. But, they can already kind of tell you that.
well,
So to me, that's describing a universe that we can't really understand
Well, yeah,
being
because I don't.
in
Yeah,
this world.
yeah, I was gonna say because like essentially, our minds are only mapped. We can only think in three dimensions and see what is in two dimensions. Um, but essentially, a fourth dimensional object. The way that it was told to me, a fourth dimensional object would be here and everywhere at the same time, anywhere in time, and all colors and no colors at the same time. You're talking
Mhm.
something about that, something above that, like that's not something that my three dimensional mind can understand. you know?
Well, and it's not necessarily an extra spatial dimension either. It could be some other factor, just like time is this additional,
Ah, gotcha.
line, dimension, but it's not a spatial dimension. So, yeah, like I said, I just, I have to kind of give up because it gets so complex. How could you, other than describe it like they do, how do you visualize something like that?
Yeah, how would you visualize something like that? That's
It's
like,
friggin' impossible.
I don't think our brains were designed to visualize something like that. I don't think
No,
we don't even have the sensory factors.
yeah, can't
Yeah,
do it.
no. Even the boson, was it the boson whatever particles they did find out that they only had so many of these particles within a containment field, right? And that they were disappearing, right? And then coming back, and their theory is that they were slipping through microscopic black holes or slipping into our reality, and then coming back into the same thing. That's what they were believing, right?
I think, yeah, to explain why gravity is this value that it has, it means some of it is leaking somewhere. Essentially, it's the best way to describe it is it's leaking into other dimensions, other dimensional space,
Yeah.
to get the value that we see in our space. And uh, yeah, how do you explain that?
I actually, what's funny is that I am in a CERN group with some of the people that work from CERN. I don't know if she would come on the show though.
Yeah, I mean, I try to watch their stuff, but I mean, honestly, I mean, they're pushing the envelope so far. It's hard to keep track, And I'm an electrical engineer, kind of not necessarily a physicist or anything, but at least kind of to understand where they're coming from. And man, it's tough, man. I mean, they're way out there.
Didn't they already with the CERN guys, they and some of the guys at UC Berkeley, now they have extracted, I believe it's dark matter, right? That's not
Not dark, no, antimatter,
antimatter.
anti-hydrogen. Yeah, they're being able to hold anti-hydrogen long enough to do a lot more studies on it. I think for up to 10 minutes now in a magnetic model. So yeah, that's coming along.
No. Isn't antimatter the opposite of everything that makes up this universe?
Not really.
No.
No, it's antiparticles making up antimatter, but it's not an opposite of anything. It's just another subset. It's a subset, the antimatter, and most of it's gone. In fact, we live in the matter world, so antimatter has essentially been stripped and ripped out of, for whatever reason, out of our world, and we're left with this much matter. But we know it exists. We can create it. Can't explain why it's not really around or present, but dark matter is something else. You see the gravitational effects from that, and yet there's no real particle or anything associated with it yet. But you do see the gravity effects.
Yeah, it was under my impression that they were extracting it out of somewhere, so they are taking it from our
Mm.
plane of existence. Is that correct, or is they taking it from somewhere else?
No, I don't think they've done that.
Oh, okay.
No, it's they're still looking for some kind of tie in there of what it could be.
Because I remember what's it is the Snow Lab. I think it's out in Minnesota or is it Vancouver? They're trying to detect. They're still trying to detect dark matter. They still
Correct.
haven't. They still haven't
Right.
found it yet.
Yeah, they haven't found a particle associated with it. No, nothing along those lines.
Yeah, they've been doing it for like 10 years now. You think they would have found something?
Yeah.
But they don't have. They don't. I don't believe Snow Lab has the massive funding that CERN does, though. Yeah.
No, they're really cutting edge over there in Europe.
Hey, they want to build
They
a.
we
You want to build
yeah.
another particle accelerator? Oh yeah, throw 100 billion at it. No worries.
Yeah, they're planning bigger ones, but it won't. Yeah, it's interesting. It's just hard to keep it up. There's so many of these subatomic particles, like 2 or 3 thousand subatomic particles now. So just classifying them and trying to keep it all straight. It's interesting. I don't know how they do it, but
Isn't that how they came up with unantonium? With the
oh, some of these newer, these what do you call
newer
them? Yeah,
elements,
the
they
synth.
splitting
Yeah,
splitting
they
protons.
they synthetically create them. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny because I talked about unantonium, and a lot of people are giving me some flack for this. But there was a guy in the '90s that was talking about unantonium, but it wasn't even invented or discovered until 2013. And this guy claimed that he worked at he worked at either it was Area 51 or Area what are the other one? It's in Utah or New Mexico. Uh, he was claiming that unantonium was that they were working with ships that were powered with unantonium.
Huh.
Where they were saying UFOs or whatever the fuck it was. But that wasn't the part that kind of disturbed me. The thing that disturbed me is that this guy was recording or talking about this on VHS tapes in the '90s.
Yeah, I think they could theorize that certain states are gonna
Maybe that
are
maybe
gonna be
that
stable where it's like, okay, we're gonna find something here. We can't produce it yet, but we know like this is the next stable state that should be, and then the one beyond that, you can guess that much, but actually creating it
yeah.
is another matter. And they're always usually highly radioactive and unstable, so they don't last very long. So this whole thing of using it for a power source, I don't think that'd work very good. But
Yeah, they say unantonium is very unstable. It's only
yeah,
they only keep it around for a billionth of a second. But but that this guy wasn't just nobody. I don't know why I can't remember his name, but I did do some research on him once upon a time and to see if he even was lining up with anything. Apparently, he was involved. He involved in non-nuclear material. He did have a non-nuclear a company that was moving around non-nuclear materials, and then got in some trouble in the mid 2000s.
hmm.
And let me see if I can pull up his
it's
name. Un
Well, it's a lot of like other theories. I mean, Einstein, or and there's others. I mean, it takes time to build the equipment to prove all this stuff. But pretty much, when these guys, theorize, if you get a mathematician and a theoretical physicist that line up, and they're whatever they come to. I mean, they usually prove it, decades before it happens. Just like this Higgs boson, they predicted that back in the 40s or 50s.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I mean, there's a lot of examples of that. You manage to theorize something that that it's like, okay, this should happen and it should be stable and so forth, but actually doing the experiment and coming up with it take a long time. Um,
I think we got a question here. What's your take on HARP and all the earthquakes and hurricanes and landslides? And
HARP, yeah,
uh, Yeah, pit
Well,
bias. Well, harp has been around for a while now, and
yeah.
it's no secret that they've been using weather modification for military purposes for a while, and even the Russians and the Chinese have been doing it for longer than we have. Uh, in fact, we were playing around with some shit in Vietnam on the Ho Chi Minh Trail to try and create massive floods in a country that has massive monsoons anyway. Um,
Yeah, that was straight up just old school cloud seeding back
yeah.
then, and that works. I mean, this. Let's see, what was this last one? Um, well, HARP. That's like ionization. Like it's you're doing ionosphere experiments, upper altitude ionization.
Well, do I? What I think is what
To
he's
that,
saying. Is he saying is what the weather overall is actually what I mean. Do I believe they're still using it? Weather overall, weather weather overall the world actually is what I meant. Do I think can I don't know if I can relate HARP to earthquakes, but probably hurricanes. As far as earthquakes are concerned, yeah, it is kind of creepy how we are having a lot of earthquakes, but you know, you know,
those at the same time those happen. You do get periods of
yeah,
where higher rates of activity versus other times. So that's not an interesting one. That I that I heard here recently was hurricanes because of the low pressure system. If a hurricane travels over a fault line, triggering earthquakes. And if you remember, there was that hurricane that came into Mexico here a couple of weeks ago, right about the same time this earthquake hit.
oh yeah, the 8.1 that they got 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. So, I mean, that followed, and it just, it's like, man, how much of a change could that actually make? But, at the same time, that's a pretty good pressure drop. I mean, there's some crustal movement there. If that's all it takes to set it off, that's an interesting correlation, though.
Well, yeah, the tectonic plates are malleable, and they just think of the solid land that we stand on is not exactly solid. It's just constant. They're constantly moving at a slower or faster rate, and every once in a while will collide into each other, which creates an earthquake. But yeah, who knows? Maybe a pressure drop like that would cause an earthquake.
Yeah, there's a guy, well, AJ had him on here. I think it's Stan Deo. He's the one that came across that one. I was just like, man, that sounded kind of outlandish, and he had some good examples of it happening. And you're like, damn, okay, Now there's also this is another odd one: hurricanes because of low pressure, causing women to go into birth earlier. The
Huh.
pressure makes the water break, and they'll have a, let's call it, a premature labor, but it really is.
I can buy into
It's
that
just,
one. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's
Because I was gonna
triggered by the low pressure.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say a lot of people who have pre-existing injuries and bone breaks and whatever, when the barometric pressure changes, it can display symptoms of what people just call
yeah,
fibromyalgia or ghost pains. Just from
yeah,
an injury that's already been healed, that's already fine.
right. Yeah, so there's movement there enough to cause pain. That's yeah. I
Yeah.
get that too. I can verify that one. Yeah,
Let me see. Americans have created monsoon delays in the girls of Vietnam. Chinese produce rain. Yep. Right. This is
so yeah,
go ahead.
tying that into HARP. Yeah, it's just well, and then the cloud, not just HARP, but the
Oh, the microwaving effect that you get with harp. Yeah, that is kind of creepy. The ones.
Yeah, that well, trying to ionize the atmosphere, but at the same time, all this other chemtrailing and everything else. I mean, they really want to. There's something going on with the upper atmosphere because they keep doing these techniques trying to get either charge in or charge out of the stratosphere, right? I mean, so it's like, what exactly are they up to here? I don't see how we have enough energy on it. I mean, to start a hurricane is, to me, with the powers involved there, it's like you can't do that. Now, is it possible to steer them slightly? Okay, maybe I could buy into that, but like stopping a hurricane or starting one up, I'm not seeing that. That's
Well, when a lot of people even talk about weather modification, a lot of people don't think it's right there in front of their eyes, but there are companies that are doing it pretty open about it and where they're doing it.
yeah, yeah. Bill Gates is big in it.
Well, Bill Gates is a creepy little fuck up. He's got ties. He's got ties
He's
to
got
the.
money to do a lot of
Yeah,
things,
he's
right?
ti-
Yeah.
he's also tied into the Club of Rome.
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah. He's up there.
Yeah, he's with those people that believe in. He also believes in the world is also overpopulated with Ted Turner and all those creepy little globalist fucks.
Yeah, Ted Turner's got a bunch of kids, so he should talk. Well,
I don't know. I don't buy into
with
that
the
shit. When they say the world is overpopulated, I've been a lot of places, and I can tell you one thing: the world is definitely not overpopulated. I can tell you that. A lot of
well, you could stuff more people on the planet, but why? I mean, what's the point? I mean,
yeah.
you're ripping all the minerals and everything out to produce this lifestyle. It's not going to last forever. So, and from that perspective, there are too many people. You can't keep this going forever.
Well, a lot of what I was gonna say is there's a lot of mega farming going on without a lot of thought process into like we were talking about the permaculture farms. Um, Not a lot of thought into the devastation of long-term consequences to the lands that's under it. Just robbing of its nutrients and with the lack of the way that things are treated, they destroy things around them.
Yeah, yeah. Plus all this genetically modified crap.
uh,
Well, there's a lot of experimentation going on. I hope they don't screw up things too bad.
well, I remember Pepsi for a while was showing may have GMOs in it, and uh,
Fetal tissue.
fetal what?
Yeah, I believe there's. Now, I don't know if they're still doing it, but there was a time. Now, this is 5 years ago or so. Yeah, they actually they did some samples and they were picking up fetal tissue in Pepsi.
Oh my god, that is creepy.
Yeah, it's like, so why? Well, is that flavoring? I mean, what the hell are you guys doing? What's going on there?
Uh,
That's weird.
Stem cells? I don't know.
Yeah, let's give everybody some kind of modified stem cell. It's like, what the hell are you people up to? Because everybody drinks a Pepsi at least every now and then, so we're all getting it.
Somebody was saying, Michael is saying, have you seen what is happening in Boston with the strange mist that no one can explain? Mm, have you?
Mm, no, I'm not familiar with that one.
Boston mist. Let me look this up. Boston mist. I'm not seeing any of it.
Yeah, it's the first time on that. Well, I tell you where they are getting a mist of really nasty shit is in Houston. Air Force is saying they're going to spray cancer-causing chemicals to kill the mosquitoes and all the other bad stuff, and Houston's going to get sprayed in the surrounding area, and that's just all there is to it.
Wait, was that the thing that they were talking about dropping with the C-130?
Yeah, they're gonna fly around with like 4 C-130s just spraying everything.
Wait, didn't they used to do that in the 70s with the DDT? and then they found out that it causes
Mhm.
birth defects.
Yeah. Well, it's the same. I don't know that it's DDT, but it's something nasty. It's cancer causing, but they're like, yeah, fuck you. We're going to spray it anyway, and that's end of the conversation. You know,
Yeah, don't worry
they're
about
doing
this.
it.
Don't worry about this shit. It only causes birth defects and reproductive harm on your
Yeah, it's
offspring.
not like it. Yeah, it's not going to kill you today. It's going to really make you sick about 50 years from now, and take about 5 years off of your life. But you know, hey, for now, you're all right. Don't worry. You won't have any mosquitoes. You know, we got to kill all this bacteria and all this chemical sludge and everything else we got going on. And
Oh, I guess you're
I
saying.
guess that's the disadvantage of living in the Houston area is now all those chemicals you produce are literally in your soil and everywhere. They get in the water and oh my God, can you imagine? What a dump.
I guess they're correcting. The audience is correcting me. They're called glass glow lights in Boston. I'm still not finding any articles on it. Rugby shaped lights
Boston
in this.
mist.
Yeah,
Hmm.
glass glow has been seeing glass. Oh, sorry, glass glow has been seeing rugby shaped lights in the sky. Well,
Uh, no, can't
that,
can't speak to that.
yeah, I'm not. I don't have any input on it. I just gotta have a link or something to follow up on. A lot of yeah. Remember, guys, I'm only limited to what I can search in so many search engines.
Yes, you're only allowed to search so much knowledge. Others you can't have.
Well, a lot of it gets buried. You know.
Scrubbed. Yeah, I mean, it's heavily filtered.
Yeah. Let me look at DuckDuckGo. Hold on. One more search. Let's see. Boston Mist. Strange. Boston Lights. Let me look at that one. No. 70. Oh, something weird came up. Hold on. Wait. UFO over Boston. What? That was 5 years ago. This is two
Oh
years
no, that was
ago.
back in the '80s. There was the band Boston that used a UFO on their was it
Yeah.
their first album cover?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't want to date myself, but I remember that.
I don't know. Could be something. I don't know. There, even people in the weather field have been finding out new stuff. Like um, God, what was it? Invisible lightning. Have you ever heard of such a thing?
Sprites and what are the
Uh-oh, I lost them. Uh-oh, lost Preston. There you are. You back?
yeah. Oh, did I leave?
Yeah,
Oh wow. Okay, I gotta be careful.
yeah. No, there was. Yeah, it was. It wasn't sprites. It was like invisible lightning. I guess it produces like kind of like a microwave. You can only see that. You can only see it in different waves of light rather than the visible ones. But yeah, they're always finding out new shit.
Yeah, a lot of it. Well, just because you didn't have like high speed cameras, but I remember like in the '70s, people say they'd see like those blue flashes, like the blue lightning or the red lightning. Everybody kind of dismissed, or you'd hear an airline pilot say something like that, and sure enough, they look at it close enough now, and that stuff is all there. Uh, you got to have high speed camera to pick it up.
Yeah. Trying to look at this link. Hold on.
And then there's that other one, what do they call it? It's like a charge between the lower atmosphere and the upper atmosphere. Now the people from the space station, you can't even see that one. That's weird.
Oh, sprites.
It looks like, I think that's what they're called. Yeah, it looks like the old photon torpedoes that the like the Enterprise shot out. You know, of course they're going from down to up. You know, they're not directional or anything, but it has that same shape. Just a blob of charge. You know.
The link isn't showing up on this platform. That's crazy. And I just saw the link as well. Gotta hate fucking Facebook. I think the link disappeared. Is that even possible?
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah, the link is, I can see the link on mobile, but I can't see the link on our actual page.
Oh, wow, that's weird.
That's
No,
great.
different. Well, what else here? Yeah, they picked those some lights coming out of that earthquake in Mexico City.
Oh yes, I saw.
Now, some of that could have been transformers, but you know that effect is known too. That piezo effect when the earthquake in Mexico City. When the earthquakes kick off, they'll get those weird lights.
Yeah, I did hear about those mysterious lights that are. Oh, here we go. I got it. Those mysterious lights. Oh, because he wrote the website. Weird. What the fuck?
Huh.
It's holy shit. I just caught some censorship.
Searching on the internet? How dare they?
No. Oh, he spelled out the dot twice there. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's crazy. I thought I was losing my mind there for a second. I was like, what? Evolution. Yeah, I did see those things. Now I have seen that kind of similar I have seen a similar lights before. I only twice in my life. One time I was sober, and the other time I was drunk off my ass. You do see those weird lights. You do see those weird lights when a transformer explodes, but like I believe the lights were happening even before the initial shaking. You know, which was kind of weird.
Yeah, the one I saw was kind of a nighttime, so you didn't have any reference like it was anything shaking or timing or anything. You see these lights and you can't say, well, okay, that is kind of weird, but it could be a transformer too. And
Will we ever know? We don't know. For all we know, it could be plasma. You know.
yeah, now if you see them in a rural area where there's no city, well then you know it's like, okay, there's no transformer out there, there's no electricity. You know, then you can be pretty certain that it's from some other effect. But, yeah. Oh, how about the NASA plan to drill? Now this is like really dumb. The NASA plan to drill into the supervolcano to either release pressure or pump water in there to, like, you know, to stave off this eruption that's inevitable, right? You know, have you heard
What?
that plan?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, no, it's out there, man. NASA has actually said they've come out with this statement like, you know, I'm saying like this is something we could do or this is something they want to try, but yeah, it's like, whoa, bad idea.
Yeah, I was gonna say drilling into a volcano that's released pressure. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong, right? I mean, it's, you stand to me, you just stand to lose a lot more than you could possibly gain off of that one. It's like, hey guys, if you fuck this up, it's really going to be bad, right?
Yeah. I don't know, like SETI, like what has ever come out of that, Like, I don't know.
Ooh, well, yeah, now the thing about SETI that gets me, my understanding is like these, even like radio telescopes. I mean, you can only see out in
So far.
so far, like say 300 or 400 light years, and then it's all masked in the background noise.
Well, you,
So it's like, well, okay, I guess that's worth doing, but that seems kind of limited.
well,
When you got
when I even I had thought about this, that if there was there's a problem in a lot of that theory is that when you're dealing with long distance radio communication that's traveling throughout the universe, which there already is, um, you would also be dealing with distortion from gravitational forces. So let's say there's um, um, I don't know, a black hole somewhere. So who knows if it's not even reaching our side of the universe because there's a black hole. There's a black hole somewhere out. You know what I mean? There's a lot of um,
it would still have to be close though, for
yeah.
say like that 300 or 400 light years, whatever that range is. So I think with this new detection method, what is that thing called, Spitzer, or what the hell is that? Where they're looking for where they're finding all these exoplanets. That now that thing's picking up a bunch of them. Different technique.
Did you ever back in the day use your computer for the SETI program?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was involved
Yep.
in that as well. When you used to see
Yeah.
the data graphs, and your computer would decrypt all of the SETI information.
Yeah. No, that was an interesting use of, I guess, like distributed data and collaboration. That was kind of a slick program in a way.
Yeah, I was doing that.
Borrowing CPU time and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did that for like a couple of years while I was in high school. That was the craziest thing I ever did. I'm like, hey, yeah, I got fucking space noises on my computer.
Yeah. The thing is, you get these statements every so often, like they found something, and then there's the immediate, like, week or two later, well, no, we really didn't. So it's like, okay, guys, quit playing this game. It's like either you found something or you didn't. It's
Well, I think that remember they did find something back in the '70s when they initially had remember the WoW signal back in the '70s with SETI and um,
there's been several. Yeah,
they couldn't find it again, and typically what they're looking for is repeating patterns and stuff like that, right?
right. Yeah, something artificial looking. Right.
Yeah, I
Well,
was gonna say how much different would an oscillating pattern set look like on a graph than a pulsating quasar? Who knows?
yeah, you have to differentiate them all, but those would be kind of known. You would, like I say, it'd have to be something like almost like hearing a radio signal or a TV broadcast or something. I mean, it just some blip of something that's man-made, artificial.
Speaking of which, how far is remember we sent that deep space probe Voyager 2 back in the '70s?
Yeah, it's been out there 40 years now.
How fucking far is that thing now?
It's at the heliopause. It's right at the boundary. I think it's finally busted through to, what do you call it? Intergalactic space. Yeah, it's kind of outside the shell of the sun's influence now. But
I wonder if we ever get telemetry from that thing ever.
yeah, it's still coming back.
Are you serious? It's still
Yeah,
sending data back?
yep, that it is. I don't know how much longer it can go on,
Well, but I remember
but it is.
they were using nuclear batteries for that thing. So that thing has to have a battery life of like a couple hundred years.
Yeah, I don't know what the half-life of plutonium is. That's usually what they use. Well, it was like Cassini. I mean, that's why one reason they burned it up in Saturn is like, hey, we can't let all that nuclear material, crash into one of the moons or something stupid. You got to burn it up in the atmosphere and get rid of it.
Is that why they burned up Cassini?
Yeah, was the one big reason. They didn't want to contaminate the system with an accident somewhere else. They purposely did that. Yeah.
I would have just left it up there. That's just me.
Yeah, no need to spread our radioactivity to some other system, right? They might not appreciate that. Whatever life is there, it's going to be.
Aliens are looking at the Voyager 2 with remember the sounds of Earth. They'd be like, "What the fuck is this shit?" with the gold records.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they're advanced, they're going to think we're pretty primitive.
Like, man, all they made was just sounds and music that's on this disc, and instructions on how to come and find our planet.
They might want to rethink that.
Yeah. You just lead them over to the next solar system.
Yeah, let's just do a thought experiment. Hey, what's the chance that these guys are benevolent and read poetry all day? It's that kind of ET. Versus they're really, really advanced bad guys that don't give a crap about us. That's what you really got to worry about.
Oh, wait, here we go. Michael says, since you guys are speaking about space and the supposed end of the world on September 23rd from the Bureau, planet Alpha, I think it might be farther. I guess the September 23rd thing, I don't know how people are tying it into the Nibiru thing. Now,
Yeah.
I used to have a friend. Well, they're still my friend, but I just haven't talked to them in a while. But they were kind of into the Nibiru thing way too much. I tried looking for it. I seen all the fake YouTube images, and even the whatever that guy's name is, Stanley, whatever that had translated the Sumerian tablets. There's been now. Don't get me wrong. There is something weird that is described in the Sumerian tablets there, but they don't. I think, and other people have thought that he didn't translate it right. Now, is the Nibiru thing a hoax? I 100% believe it is a hoax. But I don't understand how people are tying it into this Nibiru thing. Now, is there a planet another planet that is outside of our solar system that they're calling Planet X? Yes. But it's so far out there that it's still like a chunk of ice. Even I believe its atmosphere is even frozen. Am I correct about that?
Oh God, I don't know.
The one outside of Pluto.
Well, let's see. What do you have? They have Kuiper Belt before the Oort cloud. So either one. I mean, the Oort cloud's kind of like where the comets. That's the icy comet. It's essentially. You have quite a bit of mass in the Kuiper Belt too. You have more mass in the outer solar system than you do in the inner solar system. Yeah, I don't know what the ratio is there, but that's pretty surprising.
Yeah, that's true.
They've mapped a lot of these with one of these probes. Is mapping all these solar system objects. There's a bunch of them out there.
They don't. There's also ones that they come across that almost hit the Earth every fucking year.
Yeah, the near crossing. Yeah, it looks like from the data right now. I mean, like we don't have anything like big that's going to blow us away anytime soon. But
But they think that there's actually evidence that big ones have hit before, like the one
oh
in
yeah,
the Arizona. Yeah.
yeah. Or you could fly through some rogue cloud of dust or rock, and there's some examples. There was a big, odd, what do you call it, a meteor shower in the 1800s where the people, and I think it went on for a couple of days, where they could, because of all the meteors that were happening, they could read at night just off this huge meteor storm that was going on.
That's crazy.
So yeah, there's this odd, odd dust and whatever that's out there that you're not going to pick that up. It's not periodic or anything. So anything's possible.
Yeah, I just don't buy into the whole Nibiru thing. Now, are there completely invisible objects that astronomers have trouble seeing? I've heard that described a bunch of times, especially when they're fast-moving objects that don't that are hidden behind things that they can't see where there's no light. They have trouble seeing some of this shit. Uh, but Nibiru, I'm sorry, man. I tried. I tried on that bandwagon. I tried.
I'm still trying to remember that old timer. I think he's dead now that came up with that story. That allegedly translated those Sumerian texts and came up with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
Uh,
There are some weird drawings on there, okay, that are not, kind of like you do see in South America, with ships and, whatever.
yeah.
Now, are they being translated right? I'm not 100% sure. So are some other people. Some people are just buying into that these tablets or what this guy had translated are 100% legit. Now, I did listen to audio tape. God, what fucking book was it? It was like Ancient Astronomers or something that was based off the writings of these tablets. I don't know, man. That story's kind of like really, really, really weird. Um, I don't think that those are what those tablets were saying. So the Boston Higgs. I don't know what the Boston Higgs are.
Huh.
Do you know what that is?
The Boston, spell it. What was that word?
Higgs.
Higgs. No.
Boston Higgs particle theory.
There's the Higgs boson, Higgs field.
The Higgs. Oh no, Higgs boson particle. Okay, I'm a little dyslexic.
Yeah.
Higgs boson particle. Yeah, that's what we were talking. That they existence of the Higgs field, invisible energy field that is present throughout the universe, and views of particles. With massive discoveries 2 years ago, the particles were making its waves into the physics community. Stephen Hawking was calling it the God particle.
Yeah, I don't know why they call it that. What it is the particle created by the photon reacting with the Higgs field. That creates the first mass particle, the Higgs boson. Now, why would you call that the God particle? It's the first mass particle is what it is, but it's like, okay, you can call it whatever you want.
I don't know. So I don't know. A lot of people give Stephen Hawking a lot more credit than he says, but I don't always buy into all this. I don't always buy into all of his theories. Is he a really smart guy? Probably one of the smartest in this world, but I don't buy into all the stuff that he says. Does it make me an idiot? Maybe.
Well, sometimes it's how these guys explain. I mean, sometimes they're so smart, it's like how they explain. Even the Michio Kaku, sometimes, he gets aggravating. He can get to a point where, like, he's having trouble explaining something for some reason. He wants to, give you a bunch of gibberish instead of
Oh yeah,
just
Doctor
telling you.
Michio Kaku.
Yeah,
I
it's
used to listen to that guy in the mid '90s when he was on Art Bell all the time.
yeah. He used to be good back then. He's gotten a little too political now. Same with that Bill Nye. I mean, you gotta watch these scientists when they get political. It's over. The
Oh yeah,
science.
Bill Nye. He went down south, man.
Yeah,
He
the
went.
science suffers after that happens.
Yeah, Bill Nye. He kind of went off the deep end,
Uh,
man.
yeah, you're just a climate retard. Just like give it up, dude.
We have 3 minutes, a minute, 2.5 minutes.
Wow, really?
Yeah, we ate up the time.
Interesting. Okay.
You want me to run out with the outro with the out credits?
Oh man. Well, let's thank our viewers.
Oh yeah, thank our viewers.
We listened to their comments. We answered some questions there. We did pretty good tonight.
Yeah, yeah, and I apologize for the missing guests. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, we got to find a way to spank these guests that don't show up. That's rude. It's just...
It happens.
Then we wouldn't have any.
Yeah. I'll run out with
Oh gosh.
I'll run out with the out credits, and then we'll roll out.
Very good.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.